Hello and welcome back to Tyrion. I was pronouncing it Tyrion Cuthbert last time, but apparently it's actually pronounced Tyrion Cuthbert. This would be very embarrassing for someone capable of shame. But yes, we're back for Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. I'm Luce, and tonight we're going to be continuing through Case 3. Ray Cuthbert, I'm sorry, Tyrion. There's so many things I wanted to tell you, so many things I wanted to show you, but I'm afraid I can't do that now. I need you to be strong. This world is bleak, merciless, unforgiving. I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. Use it to reclaim the future. Episode 3, The Origins of Horus. Preposterous. Completely and utterly preposterous. Oh, wow. Oh, I had a bit of a dip in the bit rate, apparently. Is something wrong, Lord Von Sanctus? You filthy rat, you cheated, didn't you? That's right, you're just a cheating charlatan. Lloyd Von Sanctus, occupation nobleman. Now, do you have any evidence to prove that ridiculous claim? I mastered chess before you could crawl out of whatever rat hole you came from. Do you honestly expect anyone to believe that you could defeat me? Honestly, I'm just as disappointed as you are, expecting more of a challenge from House Von Sanctus. I suppose all the gold in the world can't buy you a modicum of skill. You little upstart. Him. Von Sanctus's acquaintance clears his throat and gestures subtle to the crowd of spectators. Everyone's attention's on him, and you can see the crowd muttering amongst themselves. His undignified behavior probably isn't doing any favors for his image. Realizing himself, he grins his posture. It's preposterous. He walks away, muttering preposterous a few more times. He's trying to reassure himself more than anyone else. So he has abjuration magic. So that was, something? Yeah, I knew he'd get angry, but I didn't expect him to make a scene like that. Well, you did insult him. I mean, not to say he didn't deserve it. Come on, I love seeing those conceited nobles lose their minds when I beat them. To have the fun of playing in these tournaments. Ah, must be in a chess tournament. Wow, where's this confidence when we're in the courthouse? Court cases are different. I have to deal with real-world elements during a trial, and that includes Prosecutor Steelwind. Prosecutor Steelwind, huh? I wonder if she plays chess. Now there's a thought. You wonder if she'd be willing to play against you sometime. She can't be any worse than these pampered nobles. Anyway, we should celebrate somewhere in town. Even if he was a pushover, you beat one of the top-ranked chess players in the kingdom. To be honest, you had your reservations about returning to the city of Arnox. If you weren't facing one of the four pillars, you'd never come back here. Would have never come back here. You'd rather, in fact, you'd rather leave the city as soon as possible. I saw a cafe when we were walking around. Food smelled great. I'd like to go there. We could always go to one of the cafes in the capital. There are plenty of places to choose from there. Oh, trust me, I've traveled around the world. There's nothing better than food from a thriving port city. I guess there's no harm in staying a little longer. She does have a point. The city streets seem livelier than when we last saw them. I see a lot of businesses that weren't here before, and they all seem to be pretty well off. Despite being a port city, Orinox used to look like a ghost town. Has the local nobility been investing in the city? You find that possibility very hard to believe. You arrive at the cafe Celeste told you about. As you enter, you're struck by a powerful aroma of freshly baked pastries and coffee. The scent of baked goods swirls around you. You take a moment to inhale the enticing smells. You have to admit it's making you hungry. So you seek to enter the domain of the Deathbringer songstress. Well, if its glory is what you seek, then look no further. Those dots on her hat almost make it look like a face. You know, with a little band as the mouth. Before you stands Masorka Tudor, the Dark Lord of Arnox, Arcane Art Evocation. As you head further the cafe, you're approached by a familiar face. Masorka Tudor, occupation merchant. Classic wizard hat and everything. Rika, is that you? Ah, it appears my reputation precedes me. How good of you to... Wait, you're Tyrion? You're back! She's really happy about that. Hi, you... Why didn't you tell anyone you're back in town? Do you have any idea how worried we've all been? Do you two know each other? Right, Celeste, this is Masorika Tudor. I was friends with her when I lived here many years ago. Wait, you still live here? Yeah, it's actually the town I grew up in. What, you were in such a hurry to leave before? You came here to eat, right? If you're still hungry, I can bring some of our best dishes on the house. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. Come on, don't be like that. It's been years since I've seen you, and you know how good my food is. Alright, but only for a little while. Rika sets a table for the three of you and calls a waiter. You place your orders. Now tell me everything. I want to know what you've been doing since you left. This table looks really well made. You like it? I commissioned a local carpenter to have my tables custom made. It's probably worth it. They fit with all the humble and rustic vibes you got going on here. A shelf full of drinks, mugs, and sugar behind the restaurant counter. It must be where Rika's employees prepare coffee to be served. Rika seems to have decorated the entire cafe with several plants and flowers. The green adds a fresh and earthy ambience to the restaurant. Some barrels are stacked in the corner here. I wonder what's inside. Wait, Rika, you wouldn't happen to have lotus juice, would you? Lotus juice? What's that? Never mind. What happened to the lotus juice you received from Miriam? I drank all of it. Already? Wow, it hadn't even been a month. There are artificer lights hanging from the ceiling. Your business must be doing pretty well if you can afford artificer like this. That's just one of the benefits I get from working with the Dracogen Trading Company. Most of the merchants equip all their businesses with artificery networks now. So a trading company has allowed business to flourish. Well, that's good for them. What do you think about this? Speaking about such things would be beneath me. In her words, she has nothing to say about it. So, are you going to introduce us? Right, this is Celeste McCoy. She's my bodyguard. Bodyguard? And Celeste, this is... as if I need introductions. I am Masorika Tudor, Dog Lord of Ornax, High Archmage of the Cadmium Flames, and proud proprietor of this cafe. Does her sword arm tremble, I wonder? Oh, okay. I was friends with her when I used to live here, so she's a little eccentric, but she's a good person at heart. Hey! She's also a common folk mage like you are. So you come from the same humble beginnings I do. What spells have you mastered? Well, I haven't really mastered about them. I know about 7 now. 7? That's almost 4 times the amount I know. Oh, so she only has 2 then. She's learned even more spells? She's been picking up rather quickly. I've been usurped. Tyrion. Well, look at you, Mr. Big Shot. You're in a suit now, and you even have a bodyguard. You get an office job in the big city? Something like that. I'm actually a defense attorney now. Defense attorney? I see. Is that why you left town with the scary lady? Scary lady? You talking about Ruby? Yeah, Miss Tamora helped adopt me when my mother passed away several years ago. After that, she began training me to be an attorney like her. Wait, you've been studying to be an attorney since you were a kid? I guess that explains why you're so young for a lawyer, says the 19-year-old mercenary. Yeah, I guess you got me there. The cafe. So, are you the owner of the cafe, Rika? You always spoke about opening one when we were kids? Yep, and it's all thanks to the Dracogen Trading Company. The company's owner invested in my business idea after trying my food. Because of him, I was able to open up here just like I've always dreamed. Dracogen, I don't think I've heard of them. Now they're pretty small right now, and they're only operating in Oranox. But I hear they're planning to expand their operations throughout all of Wyverngard. Oh, but I would have thought that Lord Von Sanctus would have weeded out any competition. After all, he owns the largest businesses in the kingdom. Lord Von Sanctus, is he that pompous noble that I beat in the chess tournament this morning? Wait, that was you? I didn't even know he was a businessman. Oh, Von Sanctus Industries invented the arcane constructs we saw in the Imperial Academy. How do you not know about these things? You practically fight against nobles for a living. Maybe you should start reading more about national politics. About the city itself. Is it just me, or did the city look less depressing than before? Oh right, you left the city before the new merchants appeared. New merchants, like from a guild? Yeah, the Dracogen Trading Company was one of the first ones. We started operating here and began the Arcane refinery a few years ago. After that, merchants from all over started coming here. Well, based in a port city would definitely give them an edge. Their presence has really helped the city's economy. They are owned by nobility, and they pay their employees a lot more than Von Sanctus does. It's really improved the quality of life for people here. I doubt Von Sanctus appreciates competition, though. Yeah, there's even talk about forming employer-run unions. Oh, Von Sanctus definitely won't appreciate that. Chess tournament. So, you still play chess? Yeah, I'm nationally ranked, too. I've heard that an upstart commoner defeated Lord Von Sanctus at a tournament this morning. I had no idea they were talking about you. Upstart commoner? The name suits you, Tyron. Hey, you still do that thing when you play? No, what thing? Oh, nothing. She's not talking about anything. Wait, you mean you're actually embarrassed about it? We were kids, you did even more than I did. Wait, what did you used to do? Why don't you show her, Tyron? I'd rather not. Come on, show us. The thing. I'm a little too old for this. You're never too old to tap into your inner... and do it. Two of them begin chanting, trying to pressure you. It draws the attention of the patrons. They don't seem to care about the confused looks you're getting. Seems you don't have a choice. You take a deep breath. Those stand in shadows. Those who fear the light of divinity. Your Imperials will fall and your armies will perish. Kneel and cower before the divine gaze, the Eye of Horus. They're trying their hardest to contain their laughter. Well, that's why I don't do that anymore. No, that was, great. That was really cool, Tyron. Her poorly contained laughs are coming out in between each and every word. Why are you laughing? You were just doing it a moment ago. Yeah, but she owns it. Huh. Hey, you used to say something else before, too. I won't let anyone stand in your way, even if they're man, king, or god, right? Yeah, that's it. Oh, he still says that sometimes. Oh, looks like our order's here. A waiter brings the lunch special. The enticing aroma makes you salivate. You gladly devour the meal. Because cooking is just as delicious as you remember, you spend more time catching up with her while you finish your meal. As your conversation continues, you and Celeste regale her with stories of your past court cases. No, really? Yeah, it turns out it was the headmaster the whole time. Wow, I never would have figured that out. How did you know, Tyron? Maybe he saw it with his Eye of Horus. You nearly choke on your drink before you realize that's what she's actually referring to. But wow, I can't believe it. I never thought court cases could be that dramatic. You finish your meals and continue to tell Rika more about the cases. It's nice being able to talk with her again. Tried so hard to leave everything behind after what happened, but you're happy she seems to be doing well, at least. Well, it's been nice catching up with you, Rika, but I think it's time for us to get going. Oh, what? We just got here. It's okay. I'm sure you're pretty busy nowadays. I won't keep you any longer, but be sure to write, okay? Don't just go and disappear like last time. Alright, yeah, I'll stay in touch. You'd better. You exit the cafe and make your way to the local Merchants Guild to rent a carriage. The city streets are more crowded than usual. It's difficult to make your way through them. Hey, Tyron? Yeah. She's fidgeting with her hands. She looks like she wants to say something, but every time she starts to speak, she stops herself. Happened a few more times where she gives up. Never mind, it's nothing. Okay. You both continue to walk silently as you make your way to the Merchants Guild. As you're making your way up there, the streets become more and more crowded. You hope the traffic won't interfere with the ride home. Hi, could you rent a carriage for travel to Rothmay? Sorry, but travel outside the city is closed. Really? Why? Haven't you heard? The Knights of the Kingsguard have locked down the city. They set up a blockade and everything. Check the gates if you don't believe me. Well, I guess we should take a look. As you arrive at the gates, you see the blockade the merchant was talking about. A crowd of disgruntled townsfolk are angrily shouting at the knights stationed there. This is outrageous. How long do you plan to keep us here? Sorry, but we have our orders. We can't let anyone outside the city until our investigation is complete. Investigation. Something else? Did you tell us what's going on? Why is the city being blockaded? Sorry, sir. We're not allowed to release the information. You'll have to make other arrangements while we sort this out. Actually, I haven't seen you two around before. I'll need to take your names and occupation record. Wait, why? It's fine, Celeste. We're better off just cooperating. It's invasion of privacy, but we'd rather not resist orders from the King's Guard. I'm Tyrion Cuthbert, defense attorney. I'm Celeste McCoy, bodyguard. Thank you. Look over the other King Guard. They seem to be taking notes of people here, too. They're making a list of everyone out inside the city, but for what reason? A blockade has been created around the city. This blockade is preventing anyone from leaving or entering. The King's Guard have taken careful note of everyone currently contained within the blockade. I have an important engagement tomorrow. What am I supposed to do now? This can't possibly be legal. The townsfolk begin shouting at the knights, but it's clear they're not going to be budging anytime soon. What do we do now? You notice that it's starting to get late. We don't know how long the city will be blockaded. We should probably find a place to stay overnight just to be safe. You walk into a nearby tavern and see it crowded with patrons. Looks like everyone else had the same idea. Hey, welcome to the Egwin Tavern. What can I do for you? Can we get 2 rooms for the night? Sorry, I can't even spare 1. We're completely full, blockade and all. Oh, let me take care of this. She takes out a large patch of gold and plops it on the desk. Well, would you look at that? One of our rooms opened up. Only one? Hey, the entire city's on lockdown. Even with your gold, that's the best I can do. Oh, embarrassed to share a room with me, Tyrion? No, you realize she's just teasing you like he usually does, but best not to give any mind. Well, it's better than nothing. So, how should we... Oh, I was just kidding before. You can have the bed. I'll sleep on the floor. Hey, I can't just let you... Please, you may both be commoners, but you live a cushy life in the city. I'm a mercenary. I've lived on the road for years. I sleep like this all the time. Just got you there. Alright, but tell me if you change your mind. Yeah. Sure you could figure something out with the chairs, I guess. Make a makeshift couch of some sort. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I just walked past him. What? Hey, watch it. Quit shoving me. Wait, whoa. Holy crap, pull me up. I can't hold on for much longer. Idiot, what are you doing? What? Grab his arm, pull him up. Ah, my hand. What the hell are you doing? Grip's too tight. Stop that. Ah. Wait, I can still... No. What happened? I should have been able to. The Scarlet Lord, he fell in. No, I can use this. That's right, I can still make this look like it was his fault. Find yourself falling into a nightmare. Tyrion, so sorry. I can't believe they made you watch. Are you okay? Right, of course not. Are you going to keep fighting them? Your voice is quiet. Your question barely comes out as a whisper. What? Are you going to keep fighting the nobility? I don't know if I can anymore. They showed me what they're truly capable of. I was naive. I thought the truth would prevail, but I'm only one person. I can't do this anymore. So you're just gonna give up? Right, in the previous chapter we saw a brief glimpse that she failed to defend someone. And I guess they have the authority to force someone to attend an execution, even if whether they want to or not. You're the only one who can fight against them. If you're just gonna give up, then was my mother's death truly pointless? I'm sorry. Teach me how to be like you. What? You said you can't do this alone anymore, right? So, teach me how to be a defense attorney. I can help you. We can fight them together. Tyrion, you're just a child. I can't just... Tomorrow, please. I don't have anything left. Take me from here. You clutch your hand lightly, feeling the fading warmth of the final message your mother left for you. The last comforting memory you'll have of her. It's a memory you'll never experience again. You're startled awake. After some confusion, you realize it was all a dream. You didn't have any trouble falling asleep, but your slumber was less than restful. It's been a while since you've remembered that day. That's all the more reason to leave this city as soon as possible. Celeste, you up? Uh-huh. She was blissfully staring out the window, watching the rain. Her head whips towards when she realizes you're awake. Are you okay? What's wrong? Nothing, it's nothing. He wasn't awake, was he? She's happy and yet scared? That's an odd combo of emotions. She doesn't seem keen on sharing, so perhaps it's best not to pry. Anyways, do you know if the city's under lockdown? I haven't checked yet. I was waiting for you to wake up. Go outside and check city gates. The blockade hasn't disappeared. In fact, it looks like it's been fortified with even more knights. Looks like we can't leave yet. They've even doubled down on the guards. What's going on here? Tyrion! You spot Reek in the distance. She calls you. As soon as she sees you, she breaks to a full sprint. She looks exhausted. Has she been looking for you in the rain here? Tyrion, it's terrible. There was an accident at the Arcane refinery last night. One of my friends who worked there fell into a vat of chemicals. He's dead. Oh no. Even if he's not dead, he's probably now turned into the Joker. Oh, Reek, I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do... Lord Von Sanctus is blaming the Dracogen Trading Company. He's gonna charge the owner with criminal negligence. And as Lord of this region, he would have a lot of leverage in a legal battle like this. He must be using the accident as an opportunity to oust Dracogen from his territory. Tyrion, you're a lawyer, right? Can you help them? I don't think I can. Oh, what? But Rika, I specialize in homicide cases, and most of my clients are mages who've been charged with murder. I've never even tried a case like this before. There isn't any magic involved, and there's no killer, technically. Don't worry, I'm sure the company knows plenty of qualified attorneys who can help here. I'm not so sure about that. Think about it. A lord from one of the four pillars is pressing those charges. You honestly think anyone will try and fight them on this? To the point, there aren't many enemies who'd go under the nobility under any circumstances. The only ones that'll do that are basically you and Miss Tamura. Alright, I'll take a look at what I can do, but please don't get your hopes up. I have very little information to work with right now. To be perfectly honest, I'm out of my element. Oh, that's okay. I'm sure Mr. Dracogen will appreciate any help he can get. Mr. Dracogen? He's the owner of the company. He should be at the old Arcane refinery right now. That must be the scene of the accident. Probably best to start the investigation there. I've been away from the shop for too long, so I can't come with you. But drop by the cafe if there's anything I can do to help. You follow Rika's directions and move through the city's industrial district. It reminds you of your childhood, back when you couldn't control the Eye of Horus. You always avoid this part of the city, and it's always covered in overwhelming fog of misery and fatigue. However, we feel less of it now. Is it because you have more control over your powers? Or has something else changed here? Alright, we're here. You arrive at the refinery and there aren't many people around. The few people you do see are from the City Watch. Operations must have been halted after the accident. Oh, so this is an Arcane refinery. I always saw this place as a child, but never really understood what they do here. Those machines refine arcane crystals that are used in artificery. These crystals are used as a power source for conducting magical energy. You look around and spot an especially frustrated individual. He seems to stand out from the knights and cleaning staff. Could he be the guildmaster Rika spoke of? Takes notice of you further in the refinery. Hello there, you must be the attorney that Miss Tudor spoke about. I am. I take care of the guildmaster of Dracogen Trading Company. Yes, my name is Stephanic Dracogen. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Occupation Guildmaster. I do appreciate you lending your aid in this matter. I already told Rika this, but I've never tried a civil case before. I would need to learn more about what happened before I can decide whether or not I'm even able to represent you. I'm honestly not sure how much help I can be. Well, there isn't a single attorney in Aranox that will represent me, so I'll accept whatever help I can get. Yeah, Celeste was right. All the attorneys are too afraid to stand against Lord Von Sanctus. Where should we start, though? This case is probably different from the homicides we're used to. Homicide or not, this case does revolve around a wrongful death. If I did represent him, I'd need to prove he wasn't at fault for the accident. To do that, we should find out exactly how and why the accident occurred. We should also question the witnesses who saw the victim when it happened, and it wouldn't hurt to take a look at the scene of the accident either. The Guildmaster would have a lot of knowledge about the operations here. Questioning him might also give some insight as to what happened. Well, first things first, let's see what we can find here. A vat filled with chemicals I can't quite identify. According to Celeste, they're used to refine and create arcane crystals. That's a power box. It contains artificial hardware and an arcane power cell. It's connected to the chemical vats, so it must have some function in the refinery. These metal stairs lead up to a walkway.
Repario Arcanum.
There's trace of transmutation on these parts of the vat. I'm also not sure how these vats even work. Perhaps transmutation is used in the refinement process somehow. There's trace of transmutation on the power box. It is an artificery device, so that's not out of the ordinary. Alright, first things first. First things first, about the accident. Could you please tell us exactly what happened? Well, it all began during the work rush yesterday evening. One of my employees fell from the walkway into a vat of magical chemicals. They contain extremely volatile and destructive evocation magic. Because of that, he unfortunately died before we could pull him out. You see, sounds like an unfortunate accident, though. Why is Lord Von Sanctus blaming you for what happened? There are guards on the railways that prevent people from falling. Supposedly, the guardrails broke apart when the employee tried to lean against it. According to Von Sanctus, it was a direct result of my negligence to maintain the refinery, but my employees have taken great care to inspect and maintain the facilities. I have no idea how this happened. Is he telling the truth? It could just be lip service. The only way to know for sure is to inspect the walkway for yourself. Earlier, you said the victim was an employee of yours. Could you tell us more about them? Yes, I hired him just a few months ago. It's a shame what happened. He was a young man named Justin Way. Was he a good employee? He was a hard worker. A bit rough around the edges when he first started, though. For working for me, I'd heard he always spent his time with local delinquents. Miss Tudor practically begged me to hire him. She told me that she wanted to turn his life around. That does sound like something Rika would do. She always had a habit of getting involved with her friend's personal business. Rika helped Justin. When you live a life like Justin's, it helps when you have something to give you some structure and direction. So I decided to give the boy a chance just by hiring him. He was clearly a hard worker and did well to earn his keep. He always followed the rules too, so I have no idea why he was up in that walkway to begin with. He wasn't supposed to be on that walkway? Earlier you mentioned he wasn't supposed to be in the walkway. What do you mean by that? Well, Justin worked in an entirely different department. He was part of a team that managed packaging and freight. He had no business being inside the refinery building, much less the upper walkway. That's strange, to say the least. Was he the type of person to wander places he wasn't supposed to? No, like I said before, he always followed the rules. It was all just makes his whole situation that much more frustrating. Alright, add information in there. Witnesses. Was anyone around when the accident occurred? Did you see Justin fall? There were many employees here at the time, but only a handful actually saw him fall from the rackway. And who are these? If I remember correctly, Miss Tudor was the one who saw him fall. Wait, Rika was there when it happened? Yeah, she witnessed the accident alongside the harbor master, Morrison. Oh, you're acquainted with him? I am, yes. He was close friends with your mother when you were a child, but after you left, you went out of your way to cut contact with everyone from your past. But what were all those people doing in the first place? Rika's a cafe owner, and Morrison's a harbor master. I'm a little concerned about that myself. I'm still unsure about Miss Tudor, but the harbor master was accompanied by a nobleman of some sort. Nobleman? I'm not privy to the specifics, but apparently that nobleman had the legal authority to go where he wanted. You'll need to ask Mr. Morrison about that, but it will be awkward to speak with him again after all these years. Would you happen to know anything about the blockade surrounding the city? I know the Kingsguard's involved, but that's all I know. I am a bit curious to see what's caused the stir. I suppose I have more pressing matters to focus on right now. Ah, so that implies that this lockdown is not tied to whatever this civil case is. Interesting. Such a shame what happened to Justin. I can't believe an accident like this happened on my watch. You seem sincere, but you're still a little skeptical. That's true. It's probably good to run some sense motive checks before before trusting someone. What do you think about this? Sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, I don't think I can tell much about that. Rika mentioned you gave her a capital to open her cafe. After trying her food, I'd be remiss not to. I'm aware how difficult it is for a commoner mage to succeed in our society. That's quite philanthropic of you. Well, many other businessmen would show reluctance in dealing with a mage. That makes them an untapped resource. Pragmatic might be a better way to describe him. What about yourself? Oh, he doesn't have anything to say about himself. Guess we need to move to a new area. Alright, we'll have to go to the walkway where the Joker was created. Tyrion, do you want me to scan for magical traces? Well, there aren't many magical elements in this case, but it wouldn't hurt to check. Looks like the guardrail completely broke apart. The rails are completely rusted too. Was Dracogen lying about properly maintaining the site? It's a vat of dangerous chemicals. Supposedly, they're corrosive enough to dissolve anyone unfortunate to fall into it. Celeste is watching it carefully. She can be a little overprotective at times.
Arcanum.
There are traces of evocation magic in the chemicals of the vaults. That makes sense. Evocation, the school of magic, the spells that create and disperse this energy. These chemicals probably induce some sort of magical reaction to the arcane crystals. Oh, what's this? Wait, what? What's wrong? There's traces of transmutation magic all over the guardrails. Transmutation? Do you see those anywhere else in the walkway? No, it is only this area. Transmutation on the guardways that just supposedly broke. These are only on the ones that broke. There aren't anywhere else in the walkway. It's a school magic that can change the properties of physical objects. Usually mages use it to strengthen and repair objects. How would the transmutation spell affect the guardrail? Someone uses the spell to change the physical properties. Judging by the current state of the rails, we can only conclude one thing. The spell weakened the structural integrity of the guardrails. Right, someone used it to weaken it. Afterwards, the guardrails were so weak that Justin accidentally broke them. And only these guardrails are weakened. The sabotage rails are right next to the vat of explosive chemicals, too. What was the intention of weakening the guardrails? There was a clear intention behind the actions of this unknown mage. Judging by what happened, the intention can only mean one thing. They wanted someone to fall into the vat. Whoever sabotaged the guardrail wanted someone to fall in the vat. Why else would only target the specific guardrails? But why? Who would do this? You can feel his fist clenching tightly. Someone committed murder using magic, and whoever did this had the gall to try and cover it up. Tyrion? You won't forget whoever did this. When you're through with them, you'll make them feel a fraction of the misery of your mother. Tyrion! What? Are you okay? Right, sorry. Anyways, if it weren't for your detect magic, everyone would have simply written this off as an accident. Magical traces are only detectable for 48 hours if the mage casts a spell, which means whoever cast this did so recently. Right. The mage must have sabotaged it within the last 48 hours. They clearly intended someone to break the rail and go in the vat. So they had to know someone was going up in here, but it may or may not have been the intended victim. We don't have the profile of the victim here, so it could have been anyone who was there at the time. He doesn't have magic, so we're probably not going to have a case where the person we're trying to, or one of the more helpful people, it turns out to be the perpetrator here. We're gonna have to present this to him and see what he thinks. You should notify Dracogen about the traces you found. Perhaps you should wait until you obtain more information first. After all, knowing a potential saboteur might unnecessarily stress him out, especially if you don't have more information. So yeah, I'm gonna have to show him eventually, but but first we need to have as much detail as we can. You're over the harbor in search of Morrison, the harbor master. However, you notice a large concentration of knights in the shipping area. Notably, the Arcane Inquisition among them. You spot Commander White and Prosecutor Steele when coordinating the knights there. Oh, and what these two are doing here? The knights are at the blockade said they were investigating something. There must be magic involved. The Inquisition's here. Think this has anything to do with what happened to Justin? I doubt it. We didn't see any Inquisition knights at the refinery. It must be a coincidence. You're probably right. I'm kind of curious about what the Inquisition was investigating. It has nothing to do with our case, so it'd be best to leave them their business. Alright. Oi. Oi, you there. You best clear out. The knights have closed the harbor. Are you Mr. Morrison? Oh, do I know you? Wait, Cuthbert, is that you? Noah Morrison. Occupation, Harbor Master. Hi. I heard from Mosorica you were back in town. What can I do for you? We heard that you were at the refinery yesterday. From what I heard, you witnessed the accident. We want to ask you some questions about what you saw. Alright, Mosorica mentioned you're an attorney now. What's that? I just hope you're still not hung up over the business with your mother. Sorry, I guess it is none of my business. Well, if she was hanged, then saying hung up about it might be a little in poor taste. Anyways, I'll tell you what I know. A ship, probably used by local businesses to transport stuff by sea. I can't help but feel nostalgic about these ships. I used to travel by sea all the time when I was traveling the world. It's probably my favorite part. That does sound pretty nice. I'd like to try riding one day. You sure? You get motion sick pretty easily. Sailing on a ship might kill you. She has a point there. There are several crates containing all kinds of goods. They must be the merchandise of the local business.
Arcanum.
No magic here. Makes sense. This is just a harbor after all. First things first. Dracogen told us we witnessed the accident. Oh, it was a horrible thing what happened. No one deserved what happened to that poor lad. Could you tell us what you saw? Well, I was showing a patron around town. For some reason, he wanted to take a look at the refinery. Something about checking out the local artificery. He must mean artificery. And he was looking at the machinery. Then suddenly, Mosorica came running towards us. She was trying to tell us something, but the damn machines were too loud for us to hear. After a while, she pointed the walkway, and we saw a horrible sight. Someone fell into the vat. By the time we could get them to stop the machines, it was too late. That matches up with what you know so far, but what was Rika doing there? She should have still been running the cafe at the time of the accident. And that patron was visiting. Did they also witness the accident? Could you tell us how Justin fell in the walkway? Was it because the guardrail broke under his weight? Oh yeah, he did, but it was a little strange. The guardrail's made out of metal, yeah? Well, the way it broke, you would have thought it was made out of cardboard. He barely leaned on and broke apart. Even a poorly maintained guardrail shouldn't have broken that easily. Did someone really use transmutation to sabotage it? If so, that possibility could clear Dracogen's name, but presenting the possibility of a magical crime could complicate things. You mentioned you were escorting a patron the night that happened. Who was he? Did he witness the accident as well? Oh, he was right there when me and Rika was trying to get our attention. It'd be hard to miss the commotion he was making. That's where he was. Said his name was Aster. You didn't know anyone by that name. Why does that sound familiar? You know what his surname was? No, lad was really secretive with the last name for some reason. He must have had a recognizable last name. Was he a nobleman? Oh, remember, he was mentioned back there as being the quote-unquote betrothed to Steelwind. Not only that, but it was heavily implied he was actually the Crown Prince. Morrison's testimony. The blockade. Were you escorting why were you escorting Astor in the first place? Don't you have to manage the harbor? Well, I can't really manage anything because of them. He gestured towards the Inquisition Knights crowding the pier. They've all blocked all sea travel out of the city until this mess is sorted out. We have a lot of knights investigating the harbor. Do you know what they're looking for? Well, you didn't know this from me, but according to them, Astor's ship just up and vanished in the dead of night. Vanished? Hasn't someone hijacked it? Oh, that's the thing. The guards would have noticed if someone had driven off with the ship, especially one of that size. When I've heard, one of the guards could swore and he saw it vanish in a flash of light. A flash of light, like someone created by a spell. What kind of ship? Do you know how big it was? The size of it, so it was probably a galleon. A galleon? A spell of that scale would have to be pretty powerful to affect a ship of that size. Yeah, it seems like either an invisibility spell or a teleportation of some kind. Aster. I wonder who this Aster person is. He must be high profile if they're calling in the King's Guard and Inquisition for him. All over a missing ship, too. You spent some time with him, correct, Mr. Morrison? Didn't he tell you where he was staying? Oh, if I remember, I was staying at a local inn at the town square. Wait, that's the tavern we were staying at. If he's this high profile, why is he staying at an inn for commoners? No idea. He's an eccentric one for sure. Whoever he was, he also witnessed the accident. You'll definitely need to speak with him, and if he's noble, there's a chance he's the mage that could have sabotaged the guards rail. can you tell us about this? I sort of don't know much about these things. You better ask someone else. The Dracogen Trading Company seems to have a large presence in Oranax now. Boy, old Dracogen just swooped in one day and took the city straight from Sanctus's grips. Yeah, it's not like Sanctus was doing anything with it. Now, I can't think of a single business here that isn't working for them. I wonder how Lord Von Sanctus feels about that. Hope this whole mess doesn't affect the whole company's dealings here. He really breathed his life into this town. I don't know what this. Oh. He actually said something different. I said, how do you feel about Lord Von Sanctus? Ah, you know the answer as well as I. I got no love for that damn aristocrat. If we're lucky, old Dracogen will shoot down the civil suit and kick Von Sanctus to the curb. Rika seems to be doing well. Her cafe's pretty busy. Oh, I'm happy to see you kids are making something of yourselves. The way people treat mages, I was really worried about our future. Oh, I can still remember days when I was a small boy. You've really grown up since then. I guess he's feeling sad from the nostalgia. You had to, there's no other choice. Tell us about this. About yourself. Guess we have to speak to Rika at her cafe. You arrive at the cafe and see it's packed with customers. You don't see Rika anywhere. She must be preoccupied. Perhaps she'll come back when it's less busy. The Agwin Tavern. Morrison said Astor is staying in one of the rooms. Which room is it? You can always check each room. That might irritate the patrons, though. And if Astor doesn't want to be found, we might alert him if we annoy too many people. I guess you're right. Your family owns a tavern too, though. If you had to put a VIP, what room would you choose? I think it's probably one at the end of the hallway. That's the one I use in the family's tavern. So is it just me or does this hallway look similar to the one at your family's tavern? Well, most of them have the same architecture, so I don't think it's that strange. No, but I mean, it looks exactly like it. It's uncanny. It's as if whoever made this tavern just decided to just reuse the same design. Hey, making unique designs difficult, and it costs money. Do you think developers should be spending resources on a location you only see once? No, it's kind of lazy. What bothers you so much? Why don't you pay for the assets required to make a new one? You decided to drop the matter. How very amusing that this conversation happens exactly when I when I make new assets for the stream. I'll probably post them a bit later but yeah, if you watch the stream live, you might have noticed that I now have a pre and post stream image. I will probably cut them out for the YouTube release, though, so if you're watching this VOD on YouTube, you don't have to worry about it. I also finally have a real BRB page. Actually, you know what? Why don't I show it off right now, since I have a moment. The artist is credited in my profile, on the panels on my Twitch page, so be sure to give them lots of love. They worked very hard on these assets, and I really appreciate their hard work.
Arcanum.
No magic going on in here. According to Celeste's intuition, the innkeeper will probably give an answer to this room. You approach the door and firmly knock on it. Hello? Someone does come to answer, but they only open the door a fraction of the way. The crack in the door is less than an inch wide. You can't look at the person's face. I'm terribly sorry, but if your business isn't urgent, I'd like it left alone. Sorry if I'm intruding, but are you Aster? My name is Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm a defense attorney of Stephanic Dracogen. From what I've heard, you witnessed the accident at the refinery yesterday? I was wondering if I could ask you a question about what you saw. But hearing your name, the man fully opens the door and you're able to get a good look at him. He definitely stands out from the other patrons. He must be the wealthy patron you're looking for. Tyrion Cuthbert, protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. So you know who I am? I do, I know you very well. I'm your biggest fan! What? I can't believe it, the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert is standing right in front of my tavern room! What? I heard all about your feats, Mr. Cuthbert. You successfully indicted the head of House Pierce. You didn't think twice about confronting the inheritor of House Frega, and you even defeated Lord Von Sanctus in the chess tournament yesterday. I'm a little lost right now. And you must be Celeste McCoy, Tyrant's first client and the Crimson Demon of the Eastern Kingdoms. How did you find out about that name? The Crimson what? Don't ask. Anyways, if you are Aster, that does mean you witnessed that means you witnessed the accident with the Harbor Master yesterday? Oh, yes, I did. Go ahead and interrogate me about what I saw. I'll answer whatever question you have. You never met a witness this eager to cooperate. Hopefully this means he won't hide any details about what he saw. Door to Aster's room. The innkeeper gave him the inn, presumably to keep out any prying eyes. Mm. You clearly know who I am, but I don't know who you are, Aster. Ah, my apologies, but I prefer to keep my full identity hidden for now. He's within his right to do so, but he can't help feel a little... We don't... Ah, it doesn't even list his occupation, age, or arcane art. Should he have any, although he is noble, so he most likely has some. I was accompanying a ship transporting goods to Lord Von Sanctus. The same ship that was magically stolen. Oh, I'm surprised you know about that. The Kings of God have been trying their best to keep that information hidden. I suppose I shouldn't expect anything less from you, Mr. Cuthbert. Flattery will get him nowhere. What was on that ship? It must be pretty valuable, worth seeing. I doubt there was anything on that ship worth drawing the ire of the entire kingdom. The truth is, during the time that ship was stolen, I was supposed to be on it. Ah, so they probably intended to kidnap him. I see. The theft of the ship might actually have been an attempt to kidnap you. Yeah, exactly. That's my current theory, anyway. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. He seems awfully calm about someone having... and most likely having attempted to kidnap him. The accident. According to Morrison, you were also at the refinery that night. Did you witness the moment the victim fell in the bat? Oh, I did. Tell us exactly what you saw. Every detail you remember would be important. Well, it all began when I was visiting the refinery with the harbor master. I was inspecting the refinery machines when the girl frantically ran towards us. She looked hysterical, like she was trying to tell us something, but we couldn't hear her over the noise of the machines. When she realized we couldn't hear, she simply pointed the walkway. That's when we saw Justin Way fall off of it and into the vat. Alright, the next question is very important. Did you see the victim break the guardrail by leaning on it? Yes, he broke the guardrail before he fell. It matches what Morrison saw. Alright, so it now says Morrison and Astor's testimony. The way he fell is very strange, though. Strange, what does he mean by that? The way he fell? You mentioned there was a way the victim fell was strange. Did you feel the guardrail broke too easily or something? Oh, yes, how did you know? Well, it matches the statement the harbor master gave us. You don't want to reveal traces of transmutation you found on the walkway, at least not yet. But yes, the guardrail broke the moment Justin leaned on it. And his body was extremely limp when falling as well. His body was limp? Normally, when falling from a great height, one would flail their arms, yes? When I saw him falling, he wasn't moving at all. He wasn't? Did you see the expression on his face? He might have been unconscious. I'm afraid I couldn't see anything on his face. It was much too dark to make out his features. Oh, you didn't actually see his face? Then how'd you know it was him that fell in? Well, who else could it have been? No one else has been reported missing. They also found the remnants of Justin's body in the vault. It was definitely him that fell in. That's true. Alright, so you don't have much... Alright, at least the very least, this confirms that we don't have much reason to believe Justin might still be alive and simply taking the fall for someone or whatever. And if anything, that's good to confirm, because I imagine transmuting an actual... If I remember Full Metal Alchemist well enough, it's entirely possible to transmute a false body to act instead. Obviously, it won't work on a living to make a living person, but a convincing corpse. That's all you need sometimes. Can you tell me about this, Esther? Sorry, I'd love to help you, but I can't say much about that. Are you a mage? There are traces of transmutation magic, and it appears Aster's quite high profile. He's probably a mage. Aside from Rika, he's probably the only other mage at the refinery. If you ask him outright, you may be able to see something incriminating. Aster, we'll respect your privacy. You don't want to tell us who you are, but could you at least answer one question? I can make no promises, but I'll do my best to tell you what I can. Are you a mage? Oh, is that all? Yes, I'm a mage. I'm quite a practiced one at that. I see. See, Celeste can cast Detect Magic at the scene of the accident. We found traces of transmutation all over the crime scene, namely on the guardrail Justin fell through. Oh, what? Ah, here it is. I can't believe it! Wait, what? Are you telling me a mage used transmutation magic to the rails? It's a conspiracy! Wait, does that mean that was the murder was made to look like an accident? It's like something out of the reports I read about him. You don't say anything incriminating. You can see his thoughts clearly. His feelings of happiness are a little off-putting, though. If you asked me if I was a mage, that mean I'm a potential suspect? Well, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me! This is the first time I met someone happy to be a suspect of murder. Sorry, it's not right of me to get so excited about something this serious. You must think less of me now. But something right out of a mystery novel. That's not the reaction you were expecting. Nevertheless, it doesn't look like there's any incriminating thoughts in his mind. And the emotions here emanating were all possible. There's not a drop of fear in there. What could this mean? Either way, you found out everything you can. You should move somewhere else. Ask about the blockade. Oh, the King's Guard has locked the entire city because you're a missing ship? Oh, I asked them not to make such a big deal out of this. I've been quite troubled over all the people I've inconvenienced. I really wish they'd just let it go. Transmutation of the guardrails? I best not talk to him about the transmutation you find. You're still not sure if he's the mage that used to weaken it or not. At the very least, we don't have much reason to suspect him. His thoughts, well, his thoughts betray him. It seems he probably would have been open and honest about it to begin with. And that's probably a good sign. Probably. Tyrion, you're back! Did you talk to Mr. Dracogen? I did. I'm still not sure what to make of him just yet, but after what I've seen today, I don't think I can turn a blind eye what's happening. There are traces of transmutation on the guardrails. Regardless of the motive, someone sabotaged him with the intent of harming an employee at the refinery. Or at the very least, someone who was scheduled to be there. If it truly was a murder, you have to find out who did this and why. I'll represent him in course for a criminal case. Oh, thanks, means a lot to me. On that note, you were at the refinery when the accident occurred, am I correct? Yes, I was. I'll ask you a few questions about what you saw that day. Of course, I'll do whatever I can to help. Psychological profile. We're gonna have to argue at some point. First things first. Why were you at the refinery that day? Don't you have to work at the cafe? I was making food delivery to Justin. Wait, you were delivering food to the victim? Yeah, he never had the time to make his own dinner, so I always delivered it during his evening break. That night, I couldn't find him in the freight area, so I looked for him in the refinery building. So the accident happened while you were delivering his food, then. Food delivery. Justin's behavior. Did you talk to Justin at all before the accident? I did. When I finally found him in the refinery building, he seemed busy. He told me to leave his food in the break room. He was busy, but according to Dracogen, he should never have been to the refinery in the first place. Did you say what he was busy with? He said he had a meeting scheduled with Mr. Dracogen. That can't be true, though. He didn't mention anything about this, unless Justin's meeting has been added to the notes. I guess we'll have to ask him if he had one. What did you see? We got a few witness counts already, but just to double check. What did you see during the accident? Sorry, I'm sure it's a disturbing sight. Do you need a moment? No, it's okay. It happened after Justin told me to leave the food in the break room. It was my first time in the side of the refinery, so I spent time looking at the machines. It was when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. When I saw what it was, I saw Justin fall from there. I tried to find someone to help him, but no one would hear me because of how loud the machines were. Before I finally got to understand what happened, it was already too late. You see the guardrail break when Justin fell off the walkway? More specifically, did it break from his weight or something? I'm honestly not sure. I was too busy trying to find help. Her testimony. You have matching witness accounts. They saw the guardrail break. Having her also confirmed could be helpful, but you suppose the statements will have to suffice. Rika's account was a lot less detailed, but she did see Justin before the accident. You have no idea why Justin was on the walkway in the first place. According to Rika, said he had a meeting scheduled, but that doesn't match what Dracogen told you. Either Justin or Dracogen must be lying in that case. You've met Dracogen already, but you still have no idea what kind of person Justin was like. Perhaps Rika can tell you more about him. Alright, could you tell me more about the victim? What kind of person was he? Oh, he was a good person. He fell in with a bad crowd a few years ago, but he was starting to turn his life around. I saw how much he was trying to change, so I asked Mr. Dracogen to give him a job. I really wanted to help him change his life for the better. But this job just ended up killing him. Oh, yeah. I bet she does feel pretty upset that her attempt to help him is what ended his life. You can't blame yourself for this. No one could have known that would happen. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's hard not to think about it, though. Was he the type of the person to go places he wouldn't be? No, not anymore. He really wanted to make a good impression on Mr. Dracogen. He always talked about following the rules. He even got mad at me a few times when I accidentally broke Dracogen's protocols. Right, the matches up with what he said, but maybe he's falling back in old habits? Perhaps Reek can tell me what more was like before he was around. His bad crowd. You mentioned he fell in with a bad crowd before. I heard he also used to hang out with local delinquents. Could you tell us more about them? Oh, he's afraid to do something. Rika, this information will help in the investigation. I need to speak with other people who knew him. You know where I could find his delinquent friends? I'm sorry, I didn't know him that well. I should keep quiet. It might make them mad. Rika, are you hiding something from me? What? Of course not. Why would the Dark Lord of Aura know? Possibly have to hide it from you. Yeah, she's definitely hiding something. You'll need to argue if you want the truth. Tables, sitting here, some relatively new. She had it custom made from a local carpenter. Looks like most of the stuff is repeated. Artificial lights hanging. They're apparently hooked up to the arcane power grid. There's some barrels stacked in the corner here.
Repario Arcanum.
No magic in here. What do you think about this, Rika? Speaking about such things would be beneath me. In other words, she has nothing to say about it. Terribly sorry for what happened to Justin. Are you doing okay? Yeah, it's difficult to think of sometimes. You always hear about these things happening, but you never expect them to happen to people you know. But I have no fear. I'll take more than this to bring down a high Archmagus. She's reverted back to her personality. Her psychological profile is complete. Still, I want to see if I can get any information here. Really grown up since the last time I saw you. Used to be a nervous wreck before. Nah, he still gets like that sometimes. You should see him before he enters the courtroom. Sword's so cool, Celeste. Doesn't look anything like the swords I've seen at a local blacksmith. You like it? It's a gift I received from the region in the Eastern Kingdoms. Wait, really? I didn't expect you to get along with an aristocrat. Well, a lot of things happened. It's a pretty long story. You'd like to hear more about our travels when you're less busy. Food delivery. I'm terribly sorry. Oh. Heard a lot of good things about Dracogen. To be perfectly honest, it seems too good to be true. Hey, he's a good person. He invested in my cafe when no one else would. Come on, no one can be that philanthropic. I don't think it's philanthropy, it's pragmatism. What do you mean? Nobles like Von Sanctus tend to underestimate the power of goodwill. Wavengard has a very oppressive hierarchy, and the aristocracy like to take advantage of or even outright abuse the working class. They're old-fashioned. They never want to do business with the common folk mage. Yeah, Von Sanctus wouldn't even hear me when I was starting. Dracogen's willing and able to invest resources that Von Sanctus wouldn't even think of touching. That sort of adaptive thinking is what gives him the edge over Von Sanctus. See. Yeah, that explains it. The city was basically a ghost town before with dead businesses everywhere. Or because the Von Sanctuses wouldn't even acknowledge their existence. So of course when someone comes in, well they jump... Of course these small businesses would jump in the chance. And of course then Von Sanctus acts all surprised that this money they left on the table was picked up by someone else. What do you think about this? I met with Morrison earlier, he seems to be doing well. Yeah, sea trade has been booming lately. So you've been getting a lot of business. I wonder if that's been because of the growing wealth of Arna. Arnax? Arno? I assume it's supposed to be all Arin as in gold, but... I capitalize on this somehow. You can almost see the gears turning in her head. Alright. We're gonna have to get into an argument here. She appears to be hiding something from you. She clearly knows about the bad crowd, but just... She's hiding who they are and where you can find them. You'll need to convince her to share that information with you. Alright, well before I dive right in, I'm going to get a sip of my drink. Give me a moment, please. And there we are. Argument. Rika, you know about Justin's friends, don't you? So just be honest with me. I'm not hiding anything. I don't really know that much about him. I wasn't that close to Justin Way. He may have delivered food, but he was just a customer to me. Marcerica Tudor will perform questionable acts to protect people she cares about. She has her best interests at heart and will always act in a way that's beneficial for your well-being. She's not good at deception. She'll often revert to her dramatic personality when trying to hide the truth from you. I might have believed that you just delivered her food because he was a good customer. But that wasn't all you did for him. You saw he was trying to turn his life around, and you begged Dracogen to set him up with a job. You wouldn't do that for a customer you barely knew. Well, that still proves nothing. Archmage of the Cadmium Flame. Yeah, she's referring to her dramatic personality and trying to hide the truth. It's so hard to believe I took pity on a stranger. I only helped him because I'm a generous person. It'd only be right to equip a commoner with the means to change his life. Not very good. Read. Generous person. Rationalize. You said earlier he's a good person. How'd you possibly know that if you didn't know him well? Not a very good liar. You would have risked a lot by asking him to hire a stranger. Ask him to hire someone with a dubious past like Justin. What if Justin fell back to his old ways? That would surely have brought about consequences for you and your business. You wouldn't take a risk like that unless you knew him well enough to trust him. Okay, fine, I guess we were friends. Like I said before, he was trying to leave his old life behind. He always kept his path a secret from me. He didn't like talking about the person he was back then. He wanted to forget about it, and I never brought it up. It's sort of true. We knew each other for years before he told me about it. Contradicts a piece of evidence. Contradict thoughts seen in the eye. Empathy. Rika, your statement doesn't match with how you're thinking. Oh, I'm thinking? What's that supposed to mean? Can't exactly tell her you're reading your thoughts. I doubt that, Rika. In fact, I'm sure you were friends for at least a few years. With a friendship that old, I'm sure he'd have confided with you about his past. Wait, what? No, you need to stay focused. Rika, I don't know why you thought you had to lie about this. But you need to talk about Justin's former friends. Is that really necessary? Yes, I need to know why he's behaving so strangely before the incident. His friends might know something about him that you and Dracogen don't. That doesn't make any sense. There wasn't anything strange about the way he was acting. I think you're overthinking this, Tyrion. Justin's me. Their testimonies match each other identically. So yeah, that does make them both most likely. Justin's job, he always follows all of them. You didn't want to overplay your hand before, but looks like you don't trust now. Rika, Justin told you he was heading to a scheduled meeting in Dracogen's office, but according to Dracogen, Justin wasn't even supposed to be in the refinery building yesterday. What? Rika, Justin might have lied to you. No, he would never do that. I need to know why he was up there, and so far the statements I've gotten from you and Dracogen don't explain that. I need to talk to people who might know more about him than you don't. Know more about him than you do. Okay, I'll tell you where I can find them. Just promise me you'll be safe, okay? You successfully persuaded her. Where are these delinquents? Sorry, I wasn't trying to lie to you. It's okay, I assume you had your reasons. But I need to know where I can find Justin's old friends. You probably know already, but a few years ago he involved in a local street gang. They'd always hang around the beach area. One day, they discovered an abandoned house along the coastline. They started spending most of their time there. A lone house on the coastline. It's that house, Tyrion. That's probably where you'll find his old friends. So that's why you're being so secretive. What? I'm sorry. Don't be. You're just trying to look out for me, right? Are you gonna be okay? I can go there with you if you'd like. No, it's okay. I'm sure you're busy with the cafe right now. It's not as if we'll be going alone. Alright, just don't push yourself too hard, okay? Yeah. Interesting. Is that where they executed his mom or something? What do you think about this? The abandoned house. Well, I suppose if the nobility and the king ordered him to watch his own mother's execution, possibly as a, here's an example of anyone who goes against the crown, I guess they can't be surprised that, of course, he'd join up with someone who wants to see the downfall of the nobility. Well, at least that's just my speculation right now. You arrive at the old abandoned house. Upon looking for the home he left behind, you're stuck with a flood of memories. Ah, so it is his old house. His memories once happy, but now they only fill you with grief. Tyrion, are you okay? Yeah, let's look around. You wipe your eyes and begin looking through the house. Suddenly hear the sound of glass breaking. You rush to the source and see two young teenagers throwing rocks. The shattered remains of a window are now lying on the ground. Ah, nice shot, Gavin. Gavin Crullen. Occupation? None. One of the teens, apparently named Gavin, notices you approaching. We got company, Wyatt. Huh? Wyatt Ornell. Occupation? None. You stare blankly at the broken glass. You're at a loss for words. You feel like you should respond, but nothing comes out of your mouth. You suddenly find yourself quickly approaching the two teens. Oh, what the hell you want? Ah, what the hell? Before you even realize what you're doing, you throw a punch straight to his face. Your eyes are tearing up. You can only see red. You grab Gavin and pull his face. Get the hell away from my house. Tyrion! Oh, you want to go? Ha! Came looking for trouble. You found it. Okay, let's all calm down. Just stay out of this, you little shit. Excuse me? What, you got caught in your ears? Yes, actually. Why don't you go and repeat what you just said? I said, stay out of this. You little shit. 5 minutes later. Celeste? Yes? I'm sorry for losing my temper back there. I didn't mean to drag you into this. It's okay. Our emotions get the better of us sometimes. Celeste? Yes? I think you might have overdone it. Nah. Celeste? Yes? I don't think he's breathing. Come on, give him a second. Very bruised, broken form of Gavin, sputtering and wheezing on the ground. Looks like he finally regained consciousness. See, he's perfectly fine. You're fine. Wyatt is staring wide-eyed at Celeste. From the shaking of his legs, looks like he wants to walk away, but he's too frozen in fear to move. Don't bother running. Even with a red start, I can easily catch up to you. Anyways, these two are probably Justin's former delinquent friends, correct? Are you okay talking with them? Yes, of course. With your emotions in disarray, you forgot why you came in the first place. Would you two happen to know the young man who died at the refinery yesterday? These guys are after Justin, but he's already dead. After? Why would someone have a grudge against him? Wyatt clearly thinks you're sent on someone else's behalf. Wouldn't hurt to play the part, get more information out of him. We're not here to hurt you. Well, we're not here to hurt you anymore. We'd just like to ask you a few questions about Justin. Yeah, sure, man. Whatever you want. All Alright, you two talk. I'll work on popping Gavin's shoulder back into place. A little disturbing how nonchalantly she said it like that. I'm gonna be honest, I absolutely love how he was in the middle of typing out his response when it just cut to the 5 minutes later. Returning to this house has brought back several memories you have complicated feelings for. These are more confounded by the blatant vandalism committed by Gavin and Wyatt. Honestly, you'd rather leave this place as soon as possible. Several weeds and plant life have grown since you were last here. It doesn't look like anyone's taken care of the yard the past few years, but you suppose that's more your fault than anyone else's. The view of the sea is just as you remember. It's probably the only thing that hasn't changed since you left the city.
Repario Arcanum.
There's no magic here. What can you tell me about Justin Way? According to the few witnesses we spoke to, we used to be friends. Friends kind of pushing it. We used to hang back a bit, but we don't know more. It was weird when he started talking to us again. I thought he left for good. But he started talking with you again. Why? He just needs some of the old gear he left in the house. Old gear? What kind? Well, you know, his thieves' tools. The tools you need for lock picking and safe cracking. And safe cracking. Why would he need those? What would he need lockpicking and safe-cracking tools for? Well, he needed to get the gold he owed your boss. Word has it he was working out for the merchant that owns the refinery. I guess the owner trusted him a lot. Justin said he had a way to get access to the safe in the guy's office. He was always a whiz when it came to breaking and entering. He even had tools that could crack magical locks. Getting the gold out of that safe would have been an easy score for him. He's planning to rob Dracogen? According to Wyatt, Justin owned gold to someone. Justin owed a set of lockpicking and cracking tools that could disable mundane and magical locks. He was planning to break in the refinery, then use safe-cracking skills to rob the safe. Why apparently thinks you're sound bad for someone. From what he said so far, Justin owned a non-trivial amount of gold to this person. If this person was some kind of criminal. Could they have been the one that sabotaged the rail? Just to tell you who he owed his debt to? No, man, he didn't say anything. They might whack me too if I tell him the truth, so he does know. There's no point in playing dumb. Just tell us what he told you. Did you give up a name? Answer the question. The Eye Taker. He'll go to the Eye Taker. Not to an individual known as the Eye Taker. Perhaps one of the citizens can tell you more about this person. His planned robbery has been added to the notes to be some kind of criminal nickname. Why does it sound familiar, though? Either way, you need to find out who he is. It might be best to talk with someone else. What can you tell me about this? Sorry, man. Don't know nothing about that. He appears to be telling the truth. What can you tell me about this? Oh, he won't tell me anything about himself? Yeah, it probably doesn't have too much information. The basic criminals and thugs usually don't have too much information since, well, if they get hired, it's usually for their lack of asking questions, and therefore... Hey, Tyrion? Yeah. Back at the house, what was that all about? Never seen you get so angry for. You said it was your house. Yeah, it's my house. Was? Ever since we were out in the city, you haven't been yourself. If you want to talk about it, I'm fine, and I don't want to talk about it. You're not fine. I can see it on your face. Please, talk to me. It's none of your business. It came out a lot larger than you meant it to. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Without a word, she walks ahead of you. Rika, there's something you should know about Justin. What is it? I spoke with his two friends at my old house. According to them, he was planning to rob Dracogen. What? Sorry, I know this is hard to hear after you vouch for him. No, I don't believe it, Rika. No, he's a good person. I know it. He'd never betray me, Mr. Dracogen, like that. Best not to push the matter further. It'll eventually come to light. Rika, do you ever know of a criminal called the Eye Taker? Can't say I've heard of him. Are you in conflict with this villain? Did they steal the Eye of Horus from you? Not exactly, no. Or at least you hope not. Either way, it looks like she doesn't know who he is. Try asking someone else. What do you think about this? Dracogen, have you ever heard of a criminal known the Eye Taker? Name does sound familiar, but I'm not sure other than that. I try my best to avoid those sorts of people, you understand? Perhaps someone else might know more about him. What do you think about this? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to present this stuff yet. Should notify him about found. Perhaps you should obtain more information first. After all, knowing about the saboteur might not necessarily. Alright, so I need to wait until I get more of everything here. Morrison, do you happen to know a criminal called, quote-unquote, the Eye Taker? Aye, the Eye Taker. Where did you hear that name? So you do know them. Aye, I do. I've learned to keep my distance from over the years. The Eye Taker is a criminal kingpin of this region. Every large criminal undertaking this region happens under his watch. He's that big of a deal, huh? Of course he is. More importantly, how did you hear about him? What I heard, Justin owed him a huge debt. Justin owed them. I knew he'd run around with a bunch of rogues. I never imagined, by the scaled lord, the Eye Taker might have been involved in Justin's death. Do you think someone like him could be behind this? Well, just saying we have about what happens when you get on his bad side. Let's just say it reminds you why he has that name. So you know who the Eye Taker is now. Definitely add another angle to this case, but still some elements that don't make sense. You need to take some time to work through it all. You should talk to Draco Jen. He'll want to see everything you found. Oh, that might even be why the captain has... Well, then again, it could be why the captain has an eye patch, or it could be that, you know, he's just a ship captain. They have, a lot of them times they'll have the eye patch simply so that when they go below deck, they can close their regular eye and lift up the eye patch to see under there, since the eye has already adjusted to the darkness that will be down there. Or at least that's what I've read. Take it with some salt, you know, internet and all. Hello, Mr. Cuthbert. I trust you're doing well. We are, for the most part. We spent some time looking into the accident and the people who knew Justin. I think there might be more of this case than meets the eye. Oh. You spent some time explaining your findings. He seems troubled when he explained traces of transmutation you found on the guardrail. He's even more taken aback when he mentioned Justin's supposed plan to rob him. Oh, this is quite a lot to take in. Are you missing any valuables in your safe right now? Well, no, actually, but what is it? After the accident, I did a careful inspection of the building. When I checked my office, I noticed the lock on the safe was disengaged. The safe was open, but you said nothing was missing. That's right. When I saw the safe open and that, I was already worried I'd been robbed. But I double-checked the contents. Everything was down. Oh, Justin might have decided to turn... that must have changed his mind at the last minute. Because I just assumed I'd forgotten to lock it. That doesn't make sense. Was it just a coincidence? I might believe that if it weren't for where my office is located. What do you mean? The walkway that Justin fell from, it leads to my office. There's a window that overlooks the refinery. That would explain why he was there in the first place. I don't want to suspect one of my own employees, especially one that isn't alive to defend himself from such accusations. But this just fits too perfectly, except for one thing. Why wasn't anything stolen? Regardless, I think you have a pretty good case. Does this mean you represent me? After what I've discovered, I won't just stand by and let Von Sanctus have his way. Well spoken. I'm glad to have you on my side, Mr. Cuthbert. And regardless of why, someone clearly magically tempered with this site of the accident. I doubt the court will find you at fault for what happened, although, what's wrong? Civil cases are a lot less strict than criminal ones. Even if we present evidence suggesting foul play, they'll treat this exactly like our other cases. Yeah, they might try to stall the trial until they find what happened. For this accident, we have to go in with all eyewitness accounts. Find concrete evidence of what happened could very well be impossible. The idea of hunting down a mage responsible sounds tempting. Ah, sounds like you have a work cut out for you. I just hope things turn out okay in the end. And with Von Sanctus on the other side of this, who knows what might happen. It'd be best to keep your wits about you. I can't believe this. I have more important things to do than resolve your petty squabbles for you. Yes, the missing ship of your betrothed. Listen, the sooner you help me resolve this mess with Dracogen, the sooner you can return to being the prince's lapdog. That is to say, I'm not preoccupied with this case. House Von Sanctus can provide the resources you and the Inquisition need. I don't have a choice, do I? Very well, at least this case should be relatively straightforward. Something tells me that's an extremely cursed thing to say at this point in the story, because it's probably going to be the most complex case to date. Court is now in session for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. Prosecution's ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready. Very well, let us begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind lists the charges. The defendant's charged with criminal negligence in the death of Justin Way. The death occurred at Arcane refinery last night. Mr. Way was an employee of the trading company, a company owned by the defendant. During work hours, the victim accidentally broke a poorly maintained safety rail and fell into a vat of corrosive chemicals. Attempts to save his life failed, and his body almost fully dissolved. Oh, I see. What an almost gruesome end. Well, at least he didn't turn to the Joker. That could have possibly been even worse of an outcome. The defendant displayed clear negligence in maintaining the refinery's facilities. As such, the responsibility for Mr. Way's death falls squarely on his shoulders. To begin with, the prosecution will call Noah Morrison to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation of the court. Oh, yes, my name is Noah Morrison. I'm the harbor master of Arnold Harbor. To my understanding that you witnessed the accident last night, am I correct? Yeah, I did. Could you please testify to the court about what you witnessed? Witness testimony. I was showing the visitor around the city. For some reason, he really wanted to see the Arcane refinery. He suspected the machines there when suddenly, Rica ran up on us. She was desperately trying to tell us something, but it was too much noise. After a while, she just pointed the walkway, and that's where we saw someone fall to the accursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from following, but he broke through it as he fell. Oh, so there was a safety rail that should have protected the victim. Yes, however, upon close inspection, the city guard found the rails were extremely rusted. They were clearly poorly maintained by the company. I see, and this negligence is the basis for the prosecution's charges. Are you going to present the trace of transmutation we found? I can't help but feel there's something in the testimony that doesn't add up. Right now, those traces are the only defense we have against the accusation. It's not a piece I want to use just yet. Once you've used that piece, who knows how the judge will react. Not much has changed. However, you've collected a bit more evidence since you last spoke with him. Is there anything you found that now contradicts his testimony? This was the patron mentioned before, am I correct, Morrison? Oi. Master seemed keen on keeping his identity hidden, so I'd probably best leave it at that. Aside from being a mage, he hasn't given you any reason to truly suspect him for now. Can't mark off everything yet, but we also need to avoid playing our hand too early. He was inspecting the machines there when suddenly ran up to us. Are you referring to Rica Tudor, the local cafe owner? Why, for whatever reason, she was also there and witnessed the accident. Yes, we're already well aware of that. Her testimony was a lot less detailed than Morrison and Astor's. She was probably more focusing on saving Justin than taking in his surroundings. But there are any points where her testimony doesn't add up to Morrison's. She's desperately trying to tell us something, but there's just too much noise. And this noise came from the machine of the refinery, I presume? Oh, those machines are loud as all hell. I could barely hear myself think with that noise. There was no way I could hear Muscle speak after all that. After a while, she just pointed the wallway looking over the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into the accursed vat. I mean, she saw someone fall in the vat. Did you not recognize the person? Well, I didn't know the lad personally. I was pretty far away. I couldn't get a good look at the person. Maybe she could keep a pin in that detail. Anyways, could you know more into the detail about the moment you witnessed the accident? Oh, of course, what do you know more about that? What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell? Well, I saw him lean on it. It should have prevented him from falling off, but the rail just broke the instant put weight on it. That's why I fell in the vat. I see. Could you please clean that detail in your testimony? If you think it'll help. It should have prevented him from falling. Fell through it. And you saw the guardrail break? Oh, yeah, it's hard to see most things from that distance, but I definitely know his thought. Definitely made an impression on me. It's like those rails were on a cardboard. Which only proves our point. A poorly maintained guardrail should not have broken that easily. You shouldn't present the magical traces yet. There may be more that you could get out of Morrison's testimony. Not much has changed about his account of events. The new evidence you collected, however, there might be a detail that doesn't match. You need to re-examine everything since you spoke with him. Alright, testimony. She was delivering food during that time. Justin apparently never had time, so she delivered it his dinner. She didn't find Justin in the freight area, so she went looking for him and spotted him in the refinery building before he fell. They noticed someone was pointing at the walkway, so they looked there. They saw a figure lean on the guardrail and break it. The figure fell by the vat of corrosive chemicals. They briefly interacted before the accident. On the night she saw fall off the walkway. After seeing him fall, she tried to get the attention. Ah, she said he followed away and then got their attention. Present her testimony. Objection! Oh, this is the wrong spot then. Your Honor, the contradictory. Well, point of the walkway, that's where we saw someone fall. Happened to the guardrail. What was most... What was Rika doing when we saw him fall? I told you to deny she was the one pointing the walkway in the first place. That's how we saw him fall. Could you please include that detail if it'll help? Mariska pointed out that's when we saw... Okay, so yeah, I need for him to specify when he saw it fall. Wait, what? Witness, you said you saw the victim fall in the vat. Did this happen before, during, or after Rika tried to get your attention? It was definitely after. More for the commotion she made, I wouldn't have looked up in the first place. Just as you thought, but what does this mean? Morrison spoke with Rika about what she saw. She said she saw Justin fall off the walkway and then rushed to you for help. Oh, that sounds about right. No, Morrison, it actually doesn't. What do you mean? If Rika saw Justin before she gets help, then how did you see him fall after she came to your help? What? Morrison, Rika came for you for help, but this was in reaction to seeing him fall off the walkway. If that's true, how could you see him fall off the walkway again afterward? I have no idea. Mr. Cuthbert, you're disputing the witness's testimony over a minor detail. It's possible that Mr. Morrison or Mr. Tudor simply misremembered. I highly doubt that Morrison misremembered the order of what happened. His testimony matches up exactly with that of his companion. Then Mr. Tudor must be the one who's mistaken. I'm compelled to agree with Miss Steelwind. These conflicting accounts seem extremely minor. The prosecution's case is based upon a broken guardrail, and only three individuals witnessed him break said guardrail. The defense asserts that these three witness accounts must be consistent with each other. Otherwise, the evidence is not strong enough to find my client liable. Please, the guardrail is directly over the vat. That's physical evidence. That proves the victim. Sorry if anyone's checking their Discord. I could swear I activated streamer mode before starting. Oh, well. That's enough physical energy. It proves the victim fell because the railing broke. Then how do we know the guardrail wasn't broken by another event? That's ludicrous. You're clearly just playing a devil's advocate here. I'll admit that I also find the defense's assertion dubious. However, I see no harm in allowing Miss Tudor to testify about what she saw. Rika saw a lot less than these two did, and her testimony was a lot less detailed, but one detail she did remember was she saw Justin fall off. Hopefully her testimony might clear up. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor off the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. This is probably Rika's first time testifying. I hope she'll be okay. If I need such introductions, allow me to indulge you all. Well, she's seriously doing that here. I am Theodore, Lord of Arno, High Archmage of the provider of sweet confections. I see, as now we are in the presence of a surrounded individual. Wait, does he actually believe her? Your Honor, Rika Tudor is the local owner of a cafe in Arno. Is she a High Archmage? I am. She really isn't. Tyrion, you're ruining my flow. Yeah, stop ruining your flow. It would say that your flow is being most disrupted right now. Anyways, you were at the Arno refinery right at the night of the accident, and you witnessed the moment the victim fell, am I correct? Yes, that's right. According to your statement, you ran up to Mr. Morrison after you saw Justin fall off the walkway. The problem is there's a contradiction between the two of your testimonies. Wait, there's a contradiction? Morrison testifies he didn't see the victim fall into the vat until after you had approached him. This wouldn't make sense, though, since you saw the victim fall off before you ran up to Morrison. He couldn't have possibly seen the victim fall again after that. Oh, I think I see what happened. You do? I think you're misunderstanding what I said before. Well, if that's true, could you please testify in the court exactly what happened? Please include all the details you can. Oh, alright. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the hallway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail. But he hadn't fallen to the vat yet. I'd barely seen him hanging on the edge of the platform. I didn't know how to get to the railway for I started to look for help on the grounds, found Mr. Morrison. He must have seen Justin lose his grip and fall in the vat after that. Ah, so the victim didn't immediately fall. He was hanging on the edge. That would explain how Mr. Morrison fell in the vat after. In any case, Mr. Cuthbert, begin your cross-examination, please. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. What kind of sound did you hear? I'm not quite sure how to describe it. If I had to guess, I'd say it was not a metal hitting metal. The refinery walkway is made out of metal, so perhaps this she heard was something metallic colliding with the walkway. Did something shake the hallway and make Justin lose his balance? Tumble over the walkway's guardrail. So this was the moment you saw him off the walkway, right? Yeah. And you said he fell over the guardrail? I did, but I'm not sure how it happened. I think something caused him to lose his balance. He tumbled over the guardrail right off the walkway. Interesting. That doesn't explain why Mr. Morrison saw him fall after. Well, I did see him fall from the walkway. He tumbled over the walkway's guardrail and not... Alright, so this said he tumbled over it and it hadn't melted yet, which means... Interesting. So he was hanging on the ledge. Was there anyone around to help him back up? I didn't see anyone around, but I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just focused on saving him before he fell. I assumed that if anyone was nearby, they'd immediately try to help him. I didn't know how to get the walkway from there, so I tried to call for help from Mr. Morrison. You seen another individual with him? Yeah, I did. I tried to explain to him and his friend what was going on, but they couldn't hear me over the machines. That does match with the testimonies that he and Aster gave you, yeah. After that, he must have seen Justin lose his grip and fall. Did you also see that moment? No, I didn't. I was so busy trying to talk, I didn't see it. I didn't even know what happened until after they shut down the machines. If only Reek had seen the moment Justin fell off too, you'd be able to compare a statement to the ones you got. Just need to focus on the other parts of her testimony. Rika's testimony is a bit different from the statement given earlier. Looking back, I should have asked her for more details. I was so focused on matching details that I didn't probe her further. Now that we have full testimony of what happened, we can compare it to what those two saw. Barely hanging on the edge. Tumbled over the walkway's guardrail. Lean on the guardrail and break it.
Objection!
Yeah. Over. She said over, didn't she? Rika, you said the victim tumbled over the guardrail, as in he was thrown over it. Yeah, that's right. What? Did you see the moment the guardrail broke? No, I didn't. I already told you that, didn't I? But you did see the moment Justin fell off, and in that moment, did you see Justin break guardrail? Yeah, well, like I told you, I didn't see the moment the guardrail broke. Well, that's the thing, Rika. According to Morrison, Justin Way broke the guardrail when he fell into the vat. More specifically, he said Justin was standing on the walkway when this happened. What? According to the prosecution, Justin Way leaned on the guardrail and broke it, falling in the vat. That's not what you saw, was it? No, I saw him tumble over it, the guardrail, specifically. I'm afraid I don't see the importance of this, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness of perjury? There's definitely something going on here, but what? Morsuka's a mage, and you don't want to suspect her, but you need to consider a possibility. What's happening here? They're both telling the truth, you guess. Yeah, this is way too important. And I don't think any of them are lying. Everything we've seen about every single character is they're not hiding anything specifically related to the case. Their own... But how does that make any sense? Okay, think through this. We assume that they're both telling the truth. You need to remember the exact order of events. First, Rika saw Justin go up the hallway. Saw Justin tumble over the guardrail, but he hadn't fallen in the vat yet, so I'm barely hanging on. Justin was able to grab the walkway ledge. That's when she went looking for help. That's when she ran into him. Almost Mosuka came running towards us. She was trying to tell us something, but the damn machines were too loud. She pointed the walkway, and that's where we saw someone fall in the vat. By the time we could get there to stop the machines, it was too late. And then there's Astor account of events. Did you see the expression on his face? He might have been unconscious. I'm afraid I couldn't see anything on his face. It was much too dark to make out his features. You didn't see it? How'd you know it was actually him that fell in? Well, who else could it have been? Astor Morrison couldn't see Justin's face. One detail never sat right with you, but you dismissed your suspicions. They found his body in the vat. You know for a fact he fell, but you never considered one other possibility. Just said they found his remains in there. Another person, is it really possible? But it's the only thing that makes sense. It would explain how they all saw someone walk away at different times. But then who's the second person? You don't have a choice, even if you don't know all the facts. It's the only conclusion you could possibly draw. I think you've had quite enough time to deliberate, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness or not? I'm not accusing the witness of perjury, Your Honor. Both Miss Tudor and Mr. Morrison's testimonies appear to contradict each other, but they're both telling the truth. And please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both their testimonies possibly be true? I think there's only one possible explanation. Both of them saw someone fall off the walkway. But the person Mr. Tudor saw and the person Mr. Morrison saw were two different people. Are you serious, Mr. Cuthbert? Do you honestly believe some random person fell in the vat after Justin fell in? It's the only conclusion that makes sense, Miss Steelwind. She knew the victim and recognized, and that's how she was able to confirm that it was him who fell in the vat. However, Mr. Morrison and his companion do not know the victim personally. They could barely make out his features. They only assumed it was him after learning that he fell in. Oh, please, it's far more likely Mr. Tudor is simply mistaken what she saw. Wait, what? No, I'm sure I saw Justin tumble over the guardrail. Not forget Miss Tudor's allegiances. As the beneficiary of the trading company, she has every reason to confound the case in the defendant's favor. That's not... That's enough. This is a civil case, Mr. Cuthbert, not some murder, Mr. If you throw wild theories. This was clearly an accident. Looks like you don't have a choice. You're gonna have to use your trump card here. You have one piece of evidence that proves this was not a simple accident. Are you sure about that, Your Honor? What? Justin White's death was reported as an unfortunate accident. As a result, the City Guard put minimal resources in their investigation. More specifically, there was no reason to call in the Arcane Inquisition. What are you talking about now? Why would the Inquisition be... No. Are you saying that... Unlike the City Guard, I have a mage perfectly capable of casting Detect Magic. My bodyguard, Celeste, scanned the crime scene for magical traces. I found transmutation magic on the broken guardrail. Traces of magic were found on the crime scene? Well, that would make this a potential homicide, Your Honor. This is ridiculous. Accident took place within the Arcane Refinery. Those traces could have easily come from the purification process. Miss Steelwind, those traces were found only on the guardrail that Justin broke. We didn't find them anywhere else. We can't be certain of what happened, but it's clear that a mage used magic near the scene of the accident. Foul play could have been involved, so my theory of another person falling is entirely possible. My client is not at fault for guardrail breaking. Concerning the shocking revelation, there's much we do not know about Justin Way's death. With that said, I have no choice but to suspend the trial of Von Sanctus vs. Dracogen. You had the feeling this had happened, just like in your other cases. They won't pass a verdict until a culprit's found. Cart will give the Arcane Inquisition time to investigate the scene and these magical traces. We will resume the trial in 2 days' time. Court's adjourned. Oh, 2 days' time. Interesting. Well, at least we survived the first day, but it kind of feels like we're back to square one. Yeah, the Inquisition will get involved. They know magic played a role in what happened. If you want them to dismiss the case, you're gonna have to find out exactly what happened, if that's even possible anymore. Ah. Hey, are you okay? Feel a headache come in. Yeah, I'm just tired. Well, this day has been exhausting. It's pretty late. How about we just go back to the inn and continue the investigation tomorrow? No, I want to take another look at the refinery before the Inquisition gets there. Ah. Throbbing pain in your skull disagrees with you doing that. Yeah, no, we are heading back to the inn. I'm fine, really. Tyrion, I know that you're anxious about the child, but you need rest. Celeste, it's fine. It's not. You're gonna work yourself. Stay out of my way. Again, it came louder than you wanted it to. Fine. Do what you want. This damn city. Being back here is really getting to you. It's all the more reason to get through this trial as soon as possible. The soreness in your head isn't going away anytime soon. Perhaps she's right. You'll be better off investigating after some rest. Another nightmare overtakes your sleep. You clutch a note tritely to your chest. I'm sorry, Tyron. There were so many things I wanted to tell you, so many things I wanted to show you, but I'm afraid I can't do that now. I need you to be strong. This world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving, but I've seen you. I know the light, right? The light is within you. Use my eyes, peer within the divine gate as I once did. Use to reclaim the future. Your eyes, I don't understand. It doesn't matter. All you do is stop the execution. If you can just distract the nights long enough, you can save her and run away. You'll have to abandon your home, but she'll be with you. And you just try to sprint towards the gallows, and Knight grabs your arm and pulls you back. Hey, kid, you can't cross this point. Hey, stop that. You fruitlessly try to break his grip by striking him with bare hands, but he barely feels anything through his armor. You continue blow after blow, but it does nothing. Your knuckles start to bleed. Irritated by behavior, he pins to the ground. Damn, kid, you just really struggle to no avail. From your position, you have no choice but to watch what's happening. Wait, stop. You make eye contact with your mother last time. Body goes limp, you stare blankly at the hanging body. No, this isn't. Touch her note tightly, comforting, yet feeling warmth in it. Mom. Aaron. Celeste, You snap back awake at another nightmare. Your tears are gleaming down your face. You quickly bring up your sleeve to wipe them away. You realize Celeste is firmly gripping your hand. Sorry. You were shouting in your sleep, but you seemed to calm down whenever I held your hand, so I've been doing that. Tyron, are you okay? You're not. You've been acting this way since we ended Arn. It's nothing. It's not nothing. Does it have something to do with your mother? The past 2 nights you've been calling out for her in your sleep. Please, talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I? Never realized it. You didn't have many people in your life after you left Arno. You only had Miss Tamora, and she never wanted to talk about what happened, but Celeste, she's been here since you started a career. Of course she's your friend. It happened a long time ago. We lived here together in that old house. My mother was a merchant and a mage. Your mother was a mage? I guess the gift of magic skipped my generation because I could never use it. About 10 years ago, my mother's business partner was found murdered. They found traces of magic. They thought their mom did it. Miss Tamora was my mother's defense attorney. She did everything to get her acquitted, but she could never find the real culprit. Found her guilty of first-degree murder. I tried to stop the execution, but her voice starts breaking. Tyron. I'm sorry, Celeste. What? Coming back here brought so many memories. I thought I'd already moved on from what happened. If I could just keep saving people as an attorney, maybe I could put all this behind me. But here I am back, and the feelings are all fresh in my mind. It's like I'm still the powerless child I was from 10 years ago. I know that I've been taking that out on you. I'm so sorry. But don't be. I get it. I know what it's like to lose someone like that. She does, doesn't she? My dad was murdered. You were there for me. If it weren't for you, I'd still believe that he died hating me. Celeste, she slowly clasps your hand within hers again. It's warm and comforting. Has this been the warmth you've been feeling last few nights? So let me be here for you. You feel yourself dozing off, you have to snap yourself back awake. Sorry, last few days have been a little tiring. It's okay, focus on falling asleep. I'll stay with you as long as you need me to. I'm also feeling tired though, I'll just rest my eyes a bit. First time since you arrived, you finally receive a good night's rest. You wake up in the next morning, feel well rested. You almost feel a little too rested. You're reluctant to leave the comfort of your bed. Oh man, I know that feeling. Celeste, you there? Your hand feels warm. Feel your heart stop. Celeste, what do you want? Her eyes slowly raking as she wakes from restful sleep. She drowsily scans her surroundings. You both dart out of bed. You seem to be doing better. You're okay, right? Yeah, thank you for last night. Poor phrasing. Hello, there, Mr. Cuthbert. Ah, what the hell? Your soul nearly jumps out of your body. You hear Aster's voice extremely loud. You go around to see where he is, but he's nowhere to be found. Aster? Oh, thank the scared lord. I finally got through to you two. Where are you? Oh, I'm using a spell to speak with you right now. I apologize for contacting you with that matter, but I was worried something had happened to you two. Right, of course. Anyways, what do you want at this time of day? Time of day? Mr. Cuthbert, it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. What? You must have missed the entire morning. I hope everything's okay. Something happened? Everything's okay now. Anyways, if it's already this late, we should head over and investigate. Do that immediately. She immediately power walks out of the room. You quickly follow. For anything refinery, would you mind if I meet with you two? There's something I'd like to ask you. Oh, sure. Wonderful. I'll see you at the town square. You quickly meet Aster in the town square where you walk to the refinery. You and Celeste walk to your destination with purpose. A little too much purpose. It's almost as if you're both trying to distract yourselves or something. Every time you make eye contact, she glances away. Things are a little awkward, but you much prefer this over the tense mood yesterday. Anyways, Aster, that spell used earlier. I'll speak with us about being there. Oh, that's a conjuration spell. It's send message. It just feels a bit uneasy when context out of the blue like that. More importantly, you're worried about what he might have seen. But don't worry, the spell's perfectly harmless. I can give you the parameters if you'd like. Send message. Conjuration lasts about an hour. The duration, the caster projects their voice to communicate with someone, and within 30 feet radius can hear the caster's voice. The caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. The target must be a person known to the caster. The person must also be conscious, otherwise the spell will fail. Alternatively, the target can be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. Oh, looks like it only facilitates communication. Definitely didn't see the embarrassing state you two were in. Anyway, by the way, I'm not trying to be rude, but why are you following us? Oh, yes, I'm still trying to think of a proper method to ask you, but you both seem on edge at the moment. What do you want to ask us? You already told me about the traces of transmutation at the refinery, but the trial yesterday highlighted the significance of that. I can't stand by if I was witness to a murder. May I join you in your investigation? You're questioning his motives for a variety of reasons, but he was the only other mage at the scene of the crime. Between him and Rika, you definitely trust Rika more. Well, I see no reason why not. She shoots a concerned look. You suddenly just for her to keep an eye on him. She nods in acknowledgement. Aster's the prime suspect now. He has to be aware of that, but you keep him close. He might catch some distant thoughts with the eye. You arrive at the refinery and see several knights from the Inquisition have already arrived. You glance the damaged walkway and see Commander White with a few of his knights. He seems to notice you too, but he only pays you a passing glance. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, I've been waiting for you. Quite a while, I might add. Alright, sorry about that. I suppose you have your reasons. You've more than proven yourself worthy of my trust, although... Dracogen gives Astra a suspicious side glance. He appears to have come to the same conclusion you did. Well, you give me little reason to doubt your judgment. I'll leave the investigation in your capable hands. Speaking of investigation, where should we start? Now that we've gotten the Inquisition involved, we might be able to learn more from the magical traces. Look, Commander White who's on the walkway. He's probably our best bet for getting information about it. I'm quite pleased with your work during the trial. I'm glad I put my trust in you. Thank you, but we're still a long way from getting the case dismissed. Showing the possibility of murder definitely made things a lot more complicated. There's no reason to blame yourself, you merely played the cards you're dealt. Honestly, I'm still trying to make heads or tails of what happened. Do you have any idea who the second victim might be? I genuinely have no idea, but all my other employees are accounted for. I doubt it was anyone that worked for me. Then who was it? All employees were present. To be perfectly honest, I'm still concerned with how many unauthorized people were here that day. He does have a point. It's a little weird Justin, Rika, and Morrison were all there at the time. That's the walkway Justin fell from. According to Dracogen, this way leads to his office. The chemicals in the vats are fused with extremely volatile magic. It's volatile enough to dissolve at least one human body. They might have even dissolved two bodies. Power box with artificery hardware. Apparently, it controls the power of the various machines. The stairs leading up the walkway Justin fell from. Rika supposedly saw Justin here on the night of the accident.
Repario Arcanum.
This is... There are traces of transmutation on the power box. Now that we know someone sabotaged the guard wheel, I'm a little suspicious of every magic trace here, but this is an artificery device, so traces of magic on it is to be expected. The traces of it on those parts of that. Now that we know someone sabotaged, I'm a little suspicious, but this refines magic materials, so some trace of magic's to be expected. The shape is strange, isn't it? Oh, it's you two, and who's this? Wait, the hell? Commander, please don't. What are you two doing with the Crown Prince? Wait, what? Here's my cover's been blown, as they say. Did you just say you're the Crown Prince? Yes, my full name is Aster de Wavengard IV, heir to the throne of Wavengard. Heard it. Occupation Prince, Art Conjuration. The entire time, we've been speaking to the heir to the throne! I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. Oh, sorry, your majesty. Please, none of that. I would much prefer if you all continued to call me Aster. No, could never. You've never seen the commander this flustered before. Why'd you need to find the need to hide all this from us? I didn't want you to think less of me. I admire your work, Mr. Cuthbert, which is why I was afraid you wouldn't speak to me if you knew the truth. In a way, it was correct to assume that. As a member of the royal family, he represents everything you and Mr. Moore are fighting against. But he does look like a sincere and genuine person. At the very least, you haven't seen anything incriminating to the eye of Horus. Anyway, this complicates things greatly, as your primary suspect, so if you did commit the murder, you'd have to implicate a member of the royal family. A nobleman's one thing, but would it even be possible to convict a crown prince? Well, no matter that, you won't stop seeking justice. Doesn't matter who you're facing, man, king, or god. And we might have to take the king part a little literally this time. As princes aside, you came here to talk with the commander about the investigation, so since Ash is accompanying you, he might be more inclined to share details with you. If this liquid's so volatile, how are you able to take things out of it? Oh, the liquid's not volatile anymore. When the harbor master and I reported, the workers poured some sort of alchemical solution. Yeah, according to him, that solution neutralized the evocation magic. What I hear, magical liquid in these vats is actually usually blue. The solution was they poured in, turned it green. Yes, unfortunately, it was too late. By the time they neutralized it, Justin's body had mostly dissolved. If they hadn't neutralized it so quickly, we wouldn't have found anything of the victim. Well, that would explain it. This also would show that if two people were lost... But the second victim fell after Justin. Could have been an illusion, perhaps. No, it would... Well, it's possible. We did learn that there was a much more powerful illusion that can physically interact with things. Wait, no, it wouldn't. Wait, I'm trying to remember the last case, but I guess I'll worry about it if it becomes relevant. Alright, let's see here. The refinery workers poured yellow into the vat that neutralized the destructive macro. Turn it green. They're usually blue. If that neutralized it, everything would have been completely destroyed. A broken guardrail. The entire case hinges on exactly how this railing broke. If Justin White didn't break the guardrail, who did?
Repario Arcanum.
Trace of transmutation is still here. It's been a day since the accident. These traces were left 2 days ago. They'd disappear by tomorrow. Right, magical traces are only detectable 48 hours after the spell's cast. The traces of evocation magic on the chemical vats in these walls. Makes sense. Evocation is school of magic to create and disperse energy. They probably induce some sort of magical reaction to create crystals. Commander, would you happen to know about some criminal known as Eye Taker? Playing games with me or something, kid? What? I don't know nothing about no Eye Taker. Okay. Investigation. I'm surprised no one in the Inquisition's even here. I thought you were all busy investigating Aster's missing ship. Wait, you know about that? The commander nervously glances toward the... We wanted to put more of our people there, but Lady Steelwind insisted we focus on Dracogen's case. As you should. I would much rather you find justice for Justin Way. That's far more important than looking for some musty old ship. Scared. Right, is this kid for real? Magical traces. Have you discovered anything about the magical traces here? We did just take a look at it, and it's definitely suspicious. The only rails with magical traces are these, and the fact we can still see them means they were left within the last 48 hours. Pretty likely that someone used transmutation on the rails last night. It doesn't make sense, though. Why would someone weaken these rails specifically? I have no idea. I'm just as confused as you are. If it really is foul play, someone knew Justin would be here, or some other person would be in this exact place. Second body. Has the Inquisition found any evidence to prove my theory? You mean about a second person falling the vault? Sorry, kid, but it ain't that simple. The body of Justin sorta dissolved. Oh my, that's quite gruesome. If another person had fallen in, their body would have dissolved too, but we could only find bone fragments, blood, and a lot of metallic shards. Have you been able to use divination magic to identify the bone fragments? Yep, the ones we found all belong to Justin Way. No signs of bones from another person. The vat contents. So there wasn't any evidence of another person falling in, huh? Has your theory been incorrect, then? I'm sure you saw a person fall in the vat, Aster, right? Oh, I definitely saw someone fall off the walkway and break the guardrails. Although thinking back on it, I didn't recognize who that person was. The harbor master and I were far away, and it wasn't well lit. You think the second person's body fully dissolved? That might explain why we can't find any bone matter or anything. No, if my theory is correct, the second victim fell minutes after Justin fell. It wouldn't make sense if that person's body fully dissolved before Justin's did. Why can't you find any bone matter of the second person? Either way, Dracogen might want to hear about this. Vat liquid. If the liquid's so volatile, how are you able to take things out of the vat to begin with? Oh, the liquid's not volatile anymore. When the harbor master and I poured what we saw, the workers poured some sort of alchemical solution into the vat. Yeah, according to them, that neutralized the evocation magic and the chemicals. From what I hear, the magical liquid is usually blue. The solution they poured turned it green. Unfortunately, it was too late. By the time they neutralized it, Justin's body had mostly dissolved. If they had neutralized it quickly, we probably wouldn't have found anything of the victim. Aster, I can't believe you've been the Crown Prince this entire time. Well, I wasn't trying to deceive you. I was just worried you might treat Lee differently if you knew the truth. Alright, should I call Steelwind over here for you? She'll probably want to see you. No, I think it'd be best if you didn't. Oh, I remember now. You're the Crown Prince. That makes Prosecutor Steelwind your fiancé. Right, Lady Frega mentioned that during the Nightgrave case. That's why the name Aster sounded so familiar. You saw it in her thoughts. Oh, that Miriam. She caused me so much trouble by publicly revealing my marriage to Lady Steelwind. I'd hope to keep it secret much longer. Where is Prosecutor Steelwind anyway? She's already investigated the crime scenes herself. Ah, she said she wanted to investigate the disappearing ship personally. She seems rather hell-bent on finding the people responsible. They did attempt to kidnap the Crown Prince, after all. Ah, she must really care about you, Aster. No, I highly doubt that. Our marriage was arranged by our parents long before we were actually born. She had no say in the matter, and I know that she only tolerates me for the good of my kingdom. I'm sure she still cares about you to some degree. No, I can tell by the way she behaves around me. Her hands quiver with rage. She can't even bear to look at me when I speak with her. Damn, I can't believe she even creates a crown prince like that. She may be my fiancé, but our marriage is purely political. She endures so much because of her name. Guess your aristocrats have your own share of problems. What do you think about this? I'd heard the prince was exploring the town alone, but I never imagined he was with you two the entire time. My apologies, I'm aware of how uneasy the Kingsguard is about my actions. I want to explore the city without their presence. Actually, they'll probably keep an eye on him from a distance. There isn't a chance that the prince wander a crowded city alone. They're probably even watching him right now. Steelman always micromanages the Inquisition. Now she's dumping all of her work on me. Honestly, I don't know which of the two is worse. Being the subordinate of a prosecutor does look like a pretty stressful experience. Never expect to see you here. Don't you only work homicide cases? Yeah, it's a bit of a long story. I'm doing this as a favor to a friend. Huh, guess connections really are everything in the world of commerce. Magical traces in a damn civil case. You always know exactly how to make my job harder. It's your job to solve magical crimes, isn't it? All I'm doing is bringing the truth to light. Yeah. I've seen some shit in my day, but falling to a vat of acid. Can't imagine much worse ways to go. Yeah, it's disturbing when you think about it. That's all the more reason to get justice for his death. Rika, you here? You find it empty, a sign, closed for today. It's actually closed for today. I guess since the Inquisition's involved now, they might have taken it for questioning. If I wanted to go detail what was saw, we'll have to go somewhere else. Then with this. The vat contents. Dracogen, we spoke with the Inquisition about what they found in the vat. Apparently they could only find bone matter belonging to Justin. Well, that and several metallic shards. What? That can't be right. I know, I was hoping to find some evidence to prove my theory. I'll have to find an approach to prove it. No, that's not what I meant. There shouldn't be any solid matter in those vats. Are you talking about metallic shards? I assume those were some kind of magical byproduct. No, the refinement process requires everything in that vat remain a liquid. Solid matter would absorb the magical properties and taint the entire batch. So the metal shards aren't supposed to be in there. Do you think they came from the broken pieces of the railing? Possibly. We'll probably want to double check with the commander then. This is strange. Need to take a moment to work all through this. From what Dracogen said, there shouldn't be any solid matter. We've already confirmed the bones came from Justin's body, but that leads to other questions. How did the metallic shards appear in the vat? Where'd they come from? Metal object was thrown into the vat. Metal object was thrown in. Yeah, I guess that makes some sense. Whatever that object was, it probably dissolved the shards that Orin found. That's the thing, though. What should the magical liquid have done to the object? It was destructive enough to reduce entire body into a few shards of bone. The object should have been completely destroyed. We shouldn't have found any metal shards in the first place. Right, but we did find them. How to explain that? Why wasn't the metal object fully destroyed? Something happened to prevent it from being fully destroyed. That liquid was neutralized shortly after the accident was reported. When Noah and Morrison reported the accident, the workers neutralized the magic. They did this in an attempt to try and save Justin, but it would have also stopped liquid from destroying anything else in the vat. So that's why I find the shards. Whatever the object was, it was only partially destroyed. This means that it fell in the vat around the same time Justin did. If it fell a while before the accident, it would have dissolved entirely, and if that fell after the accident, it wouldn't have dissolved at all. Furthermore, whatever it was probably about as large as Justin. Metallic shards. A large unknown metal object fell in the vat around the same time Justin fell in. Magical liquid reduced it to several small metallic shards. I think the metal object has something to do with the second victim. Maybe they're holding it when they fell in. I'm not sure, but it's definitely possible. We should probably take a closer look at the metal shards. Where's what Commander White found? Those shards might help us identify the second victim, if that person even exists. Bit of backtracking, but nothing too painful, honestly. Oh, I need to ask about the metallic shards directly. Commander White, you mentioned you found several metallic shards in the vat. Mind if we take a look at them? Shards don't get any bright ideas about taking anything. You also want to avoid touching them with your bare hands. The liquid's neutralized, but definitely ain't good for your skin. Emotions of one of the Inquisition Knights, he brings a large barrel filled with them. There are that many? What could possibly have fallen in the vat? Guess we get started. Spend some time inspecting the metal shards. They're only about the size of small rocks. Difficult to find any discerning features. Any luck on your end? No, I haven't found... Celeste? I think I found something. Not exactly sure what it is, though. It has some kind of engraving. Unlike the other, this one looks far less damaged. The engraving looks like some crest. That's the crest of House Von Sanctus! Is he the noble that's charging Draco... Isn't he the noble that's charging Dracogen? Darkshar's updated. Well, I doubt Lord Von Sanctus was the second victim. Aster, do you know would have a house emblem like this? Normally, only the house retainers would have an emblem of his house. I doubt Justin would have been the one who had this on his possession. Think one of the retainers fell in the vat that night? It's possible, but if that did happen, why hadn't we heard about it? Well, Lloyd Von Sanctus would have the resources to keep something like this out of the public eye. The only way to know for sure would be ask him ourselves, but even if we could talk to him, he'd never cooperate with us. Advance the Prince. Someone of his station would have no trouble meeting with Lord Von Sanctus. An idea forms. Well, unless... What is a mythic Cuthbert? Aster, you think you could help us interrogate Lord Von Sanctus? Really? You need my help? In this instance, it'd be very difficult to speak with him by ourselves. But as the Crown Prince, he'd be much more inclined to speak with you. Of course, I'd be happy to help. You might be overplaying your hand by utilizing Aster this way. You're still wary, especially since he was one of the few mages present at the scene. Will this really work, though? It's not ideal, but it's the only lead we have so far. If it still bothers you, why haven't found any bone matter of a second person? Maybe you're overthinking it. You should pursue every lead where it takes you, and do that, you'd find out where Lord Von Sanctus is. Ask him about it. Oh, no. I guess the Von Sanctus Manor is a good choice as any. So this is the Von Sanctus house. It'd be more appropriate to call this place a palace than a house. Oh, what's that smell? Hit with as soon as you head further in the manor, you're hit with a very pungent, sour odor. It burns the interior of your nostrils every time you hail. While we're here, you look around the manor and don't see anyone nearby. Looks like Lord Sanctus isn't home at the moment. Von Sanctus isn't here at the home. Perhaps we should try looking somewhere else first. A long flight of stairs leads to the upper part of the manor. You're a bit tempted to snoop around, but best not take such risks.
Prepario Arcanum.
Nope, no spells have been cast here anytime recently. What do you think about this? I guess the cafe might be here ready now. Nope, no one here. Town Square, I guess, is the last place. We must not let such idealistic notions throw our nation to chaos. You arrive at the town square and see Von Sanctus to speak as several spectators at the podium. That's Lord Von Sanctus. He appears to be giving some sort of speech. You do your best to remain hidden from his view while listen. Please understand, the actions of the nobility may seem callous. However, we only have your best interests at heart. The controversy with the Dracogen Trading Company is just one of many examples. These so-called unions that men like Burkham support may seem appealing, but they only obfuscate and hinder the nobility from protecting the working class. Men like Stephanic Dragon are merely charlatans. They only speak financial gain by strong arming your true benefactors. True benefactors, what a joke. I knew he was wary of Dracogen, but I never expected him to be this zealous about getting rid of him. I think it's less about Dracogen specifically and more about what he represents. What do you mean? The Dracogen Trading Company has presented tangible proof that its policies are both effective and profitable. Even businesses with no affiliation are started following his example. Von Sanctus is merely a relic of the past, and I think he knows that his archaic ideals won't survive in this landscape. I can only hope that our Grand Kingdom recognizes this danger as I have. Yeah, he's pretty good at giving a speech, I'll tell him that. I imagine it'd be easy to forget his running the place was the reason it was a ghost town with absolutely no working businesses for quite a while. What a load of garbage. It's obvious Von Sanctus knows his days are numbered. Look what happened. We let the common folks to their standards and a man died. I guess I have a point there. You saw Von Sanctus get to a carriage shortly after. He appears heading back to his manor. Statue of some kind of daredevil? That's Ferdinand Dumont, a famous stunt performer and physicist. He used to run shows here several decades ago. He always jumped over large obstacles or crevices in some kind of wheeled device. I heard he even created flying machines near the end of his career. Flying machines? Yeah, I heard he even used magic to make them fly. It's a shame the kingdom hasn't tried to develop his research further. Several businesses have opened up since last time I came here. They all seem to be pretty busy. The blockade is preventing people from leaving the city. Local shops will probably get a lot more business until the King Guard lets us out.
Prepario Arcanum.
No, nothing to detect. I guess the manor is where we go next. Anyways, we saw Von Sanctus heading back here. We should be able to speak with him soon. Wait, Tyrion, isn't he going to recognize us? We can't avoid that. If we want to question him, we need to speak with him directly. But even a noble like him will have to act civilly with the Crown Prince present. You mean like how civilly embarrassed and insulted him a few days ago? Right, you forgot about the chess tournament. Well, it's not as if we can hide our identities from him. I faced in the chess tournament, and I'm a Dracogen's defense attorney. He knows what I look like. Wait, that's it? Yeah, loose. Wait, what are you... Wow, quite impressive, Celeste. Right, I've been practicing that one. What are you talking about? I think you should see for yourself. He gestures towards a mirror in the hallway, reluctantly approached it. Just what did Celeste do to you? Wow, I look like Riz Rudolph. Looks great, right? Eris taught that one to me. You honestly expect him to fall for this? He's probably a powerful mage. You'll see right through this. Why tell me the Crown Prince is here? Why didn't you know about finding me sooner? You hear him shouting to his attendant in the hallway. He seems to be heading this way quickly. Uh-oh. You might want to disguise yourself as well, Celeste. Don't encourage her. This is extremely illegal. Alright, look, you should dispel ridiculous disguise. He's almost here. I can't think of anyone. Terribly sorry. Keep behind us waiting. So. What's that? What are you talking about? I was sworn I heard something. I didn't hear anything either. He must be imagining things. Oh, Scaled Lord, help us. Of all the people she could have chosen. At least she's able to mimic her voice well enough. Oh, Lady Steelwind, I was expecting you to go much later. Oh, I do not answer to you. I shall do as I please. Yeah, I suppose you have a habit of doing that. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like he's seen through your disguise. He must have other things on his mind if he's guards down like this. Well, that's what happens if you roll a natural 1 on your perception. Anyways, Lord Von Sanctus, please pardon the abrupt inquisition. I came by to pay my respects. I'm honored by your majesty's presence. Fortunately, I'm quite busy with administrative matters at the moment. Too busy to show hospitality to the heir to the throne. Oh, I didn't. I wasn't. I suppose I have time to speak with you. The conditions are ideal, but you have him with you. You should let Prince Esther make small talk with him for a bit. After that, you can subtly bring up the Von Sanctus crest you found in the vat. A long flight of stairs leads up apart. I heard about the charges you brought against Dracogen Trading Company. Forgive my bluntness, but isn't everything well within your estate? Oh, that. Simply cleaning house, nothing more. I've dealt with plenty of men like Dracogen before. This time will be no different. Oh, I understand he may be taking a business away from you, but does that warrant such drastic measures? It's not just about business, it's about the ideas he's putting to people's heads. If he's allowed those union things to continue existing, and other businesses are following his example, it's absurd, as if the entire world's gone mad. I see. Our society functions when lower class knows their place. That's how our society functions, perhaps it may be flawed. You're still young, Prince Aster. The righteous ideals may sound appealing, but they're a path to disorder. Common folk do not care about the well-being of our kingdom as a whole. Why do these arguments sound so familiar? They only care about themselves individually. If we allow them to become power, they'll use that power selfishly. It's up to the upper class to maintain order. I see. Arya. By the way, I'm surprised you're representing Lord Von Sanctus, Lady Steelwind. Oh, right. What's he doing? He's already had hard enough to maintain this ruse. I knew recently you became a prosecutor, but I never imagined you represent a noble. Don't get ahead of yourself, Aster. What does that even mean? Oh, let's not be coy, Lady Steelwind. If you must know, Your Majesty, how Steelwind and I came to an agreement. The fair lady is so keen on wasting her talents on civil work. Given that, I might as well utilize her to my benefit. You are not to speak. Do not speak to her like that. Whoa, Aster is actually pissed about that. Oh, I meant no disrespect. But rest assured, this is only temporary. I see, so I have an arrangement with Lucio Steelwind. It seems that Aster is collecting his own information. Well, I see no problem with letting him conduct his own investigation while we do ours. It's only fair, after all. By the way, Lord Von Sanctus, have any of your attendants gone missing lately? That's an oddly specific question, but no, all my attendants are accounted for. You don't see any distant thoughts from the eye, but he could be unconsciously shielding himself from it. Must ask, why do you find such question? You see, I actually found discarded trinkets walking around the city. It's a crest of House Von Sanctus on it. I was worried something unsavory might have happened to one of your people. I see. I suppose you must be on edge after what happened to your ship. However, items with the Von Sanct quest are quite common nowadays. Really? The item we found must have been a product placed by Von Sanctus Industries. An item produced by Von Sanctus Industries? Oh, so the Von Sanctus crest is on some of the items produced by a company. Not some of them. The crest is engraved on every product created by Von Sanctus Industries. As a result, people have come to appreciate the quality of our products with the quality of House Von Sanctus. Or at least they did until the hacks like Dracogen came out of the woodwork. So in other words, it's branding. What type of these products does Von Sanctus Industries produce, anyway? We used to produce magical accessories for mages, but now I produce all manner of products. As the head of the commerce of our kingdom, we've diversified our holdings. Oh. That means the metal shard could come from anything. It seems this line of questioning's come to a dead end. Dan, it is impossible to identify. Do you sell your products to Dracogen Trading Company at all? Well, yes, of course I do. Despite my misgivings, it'd be foolish of me if I didn't do business with him. So that means there are Von Sanctus products at the Arcane Refinery. There are Von Sanctus Industries, after all. That's true, the metal shard could be some sort of industry tool, then. Just what are you implying, Lady Steelwind? He's afraid. A twinge of nervousness? Does he know something? Why would he get so defensive over a question like that? Was there a Von Sanctus product in the refinery on the night of the murder? She misspoke and said murder instead of accident, but it is evoking a reaction. Answer the question, Vaughn. Celeste attempts to loudly slam Arcane on the ground, only to realize Arcane isn't actually real. Loses her balance and trips over a nearby vase. Lady Steelwind, are you okay? She immediately regains her balance and acts as if nothing happened. I'm not paying for that. He completely loses composure and recoils. Construct require resistance? Acknowledged. An arcane construct walks out. Construct, clean up this mess at once. He seems very disturbed by the mess. Is he a clean freak? Acknowledged. The construct is picking up shards of broken vase. You own an arcane construct. I do. Von Sanctus Industries is the inventor of the arcane constructs, after all. Right, you recall Celeste mentioning that earlier. Would you like one, Your Highness? Oh, my apologies. I'm not interested in using artificery very much. Suit yourself. In any case, I'm afraid Steelwind must be taking her leave now. Remember, you said you could only accompany me for 1 hour. It's close to being 1 hour, correct? Oh, right, 1 hour. It would definitely not be good for us to be here more than an hour. Oh, does the illusion only last an hour? In the meantime, may I discuss some personal matters with you, Old Sanctus? Of course. I'm at your disposal, Your Majesty. Raising Abba, it's a pair he didn't come just to help you, but you suppose you've gotten all the information and out of one sank. Just time to move on to the next lead. Ah, that was embarrassing. Yeah, I was a bit too close for comfort. At least no one saw through our disguises. Are you the attendant here? Please notify Lord Sanctus that I... She walks to the front door of the manor as you're about to exit. She immediately stops her tracks. Arborio. She dispels the illusions. Upon seeing you, Roush lets her irritates high. Is impersonating the steel one some kind of hobby for you, Miss McCoy? She looks really angry this time. No, there was a really good reason for us doing this. Let me guess, you want to interrogate Von Sanctus without knowing who you really were? No. Lying about your name is one matter, but impersonating a noble is a serious crime. Tyrion, help please? Are you seriously gonna have to defend her in court again? Quickly think of a way to defuse the situation. Ah, sorry for the wait, you two. I have to discuss... Oh, Lady Steelwind. Great, according to Aster, Steelwind despises him. Knowing he was part of this could make things worse. Your Majesty, why is he here? Oh, I see you've dispelled her disguises. Hey, you knew about this. She steps between you and Steelwind. I imagine he's trying to calm her down. For better or for worse, her attention's firmly focused on him. I'm terribly sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you. No, that's not why Oh, it's really close. You pulled this ruse under my orders. Could you please look the other way? They pulled this ruse under my orders. Could you look the other way this once? Okay. Thank you, Lady Steelwind. I won't forget this. Evil. I need to go. Well, that was certainly something. I'm sorry you had to see that. As I said before, she detests me. You saw it, didn't you? She can barely look me in the eye. Oh my god. In any case, we're starting to run out of time. We should head back to the refinery. We still don't know where the metal shard came from. From what Von Sanctus told us, I don't think we can find exactly where it came from. For each of its products have the quest being for each of its products, it has any of them. But hopefully, Dracogen can help us narrow it down. If it came from an industrial tool, he might be able to check if any of the refinery tools are missing. Just hope he can provide you with some kind of lead. Hello again, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you have good news. Well, actually, it takes some time to explain everything. Hello, Infinity. Welcome to the stream. We've made quite a few advancements in this case. You're still uncertain about the identity of the second victim. The Mel Shard with the Von Sanctus crest is your best lead right now. Let's see. With that said, do you have any tools you purchased from Von Sanctus Industries? I do. In fact, he sold me quite a few when I first arrived in the city. I even purchased a security system for the refinery building from him. Really? Did you purchase anything else? Well, he tried to sell me some of these arcane constructs. He told me I could be the first person to have such innovative technology, but I turned him down. Really? But they seem so useful. I don't feel comfortable trusting machines to handle the work here. Those constructs require very specific instructions and lack common sense. Right, as we learned in the last case, they basically run on programming, and if there's any kind of bug in the programming, or a miswritten line of code, they can't do anything, period. That's true, we saw how unreliable they are during the Nightgrave case. He heavily emphasized how exclusive this deal would be for me. Looking back on it, he's probably trying to make me depend on his services. Yeah, I guess he made the right choice by refusing his offer. Von Sanctus a few arcane products, not available to anyone else, however, or he did not trust the construct's ability to perform the tasks effectively. Anyways, have any of the tools from Von Sanctus Industries been reported? The Inquisition actually asked me the same questions. I took some time today to check inventory. Why would the Inquisition ask him for that? Did Steelwind come to the same conclusion I just did? There was one tool unaccounted for. Really, what kind of tool was it? A rod of mending, a large tool that we use to repair damage on the machines. Tool for repairs, how large was it? Quite large, actually. It's called a rod, but it's really more of a cylindrical tool. It requires 2 people to properly carry and use it. Well, I thought I mentioned... I don't want to go too off topic for that, though, so... I'll just say the magic users are the big ones drawing my eyes. Wait, a repair tool like that would use transmutation magic, right? Ah, that's right. What if the Rod of Mending was the one that weakened the God Rail? Is it possible, Dracogen? I suppose it is actually possible, now that you mention it, our color being a way to reverse the effects. You never even consider that transmutation traces were left by an artificery tool. That does lift some of the suspicion off Aster. Rod of Mending. An artificery tool uses to channel transmutation magic repair objects. It's possible to reverse its magic and weaken objects instead of repairing them. It's quite large, requires 2 people to carry and use it. So someone could have sabotaged the rail with the rod, and they might have thrown it into the vat to cover their tracks. But it didn't completely dissolve. That means they threw the rod in close to when Justin fell off the walkway. It can't be a coincidence the two events happened close to each other. And we still have no idea who really broke the guardrail. We didn't find a second body in the vat, and we don't have evidence that proves the second victim even exists right now. I feel as if we have even more questions than answers at the moment. Learned quite a few new facts about the case, though, and the Inquisition's verified traces of transmutation magic on the guardrail. The burden of proof is still on the prosecution to prove that Dracogen is at fault. Even if Steelwind has a proper explanation for that, I can counter with the facts we've learned so far. Hope the trial goes as smoothly as you're describing. It rarely ever does, but knowing that would just needlessly stress him out. Regardless, I appreciate the work you've done thus far. I'll leave things in your very capable hands. You just hope you don't encounter any more curveballs tomorrow. Up. Court's now resumed for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. Let us review the proceedings from 2 days ago. At first, the facts of the case seem very straightforward. The victim, Justin Way, put his weight on a poorly maintained guard of the refinery grounds. Said guardrail broke, causing Justin Way to fall to his death. However, the defense presented a shocking piece of evidence in the court proceedings. Traces of transmutation magic were found on the broken guardrail. This new evidence implies sabotage, if not outright foul play, played a part in the death of the victim. The evidence is also accompanied by conflicting testimonies by witnesses. All these elements have thrown quite a bit of doubt in the validity of the prosecution's case. Yes, however, the prosecution maintains Draco Trading Company is at fault for Justin Way's death. Even though someone may have sabotaged the guardrails, the prosecution acknowledges sabotage may have occurred at the scene of the accident. However, we also believe there's several factors the court's overlooking. As we know, several witnesses were present at the refinery at the time of the accident. The harbor master was showing a patron around the factory. Rika was making a food delivery and entered the building. And of course, the victim, Justin Way, was obviously present as well. Each and every one of these people had no business being in the refinery that night. In the case of the harbor master's patron, it would hardly be reasonable for anyone to stop them. You doubt anyone would stand in the way of the crown prince, after all. That may be, but Justin Way, overworked in the freight division, should not have been at the scene. I've already verified this with my client. The victim was not authorized to be in the building. And who stopped Justin Way from entering the area unsupervised? Isn't the defendant's duty to prevent such individuals from entering the building? My client can't be held responsible for a breach of set protocols, and surely can't hold my client for responsible for someone sabotaging a guardrail. That so-called sabotage is only theoretical until a proper culprit is caught. I'm compelled to agree with you, Miss Steelwind. After all, there's no hard evidence that proves traces of transmutation were left by a specific spell. What kind of mental gymnastics is that? Every part of the guardrail had traces on it was rusted. They're bending the context of what happened to suit their purposes. Hard evidence means everything here, and that rod of mending has been reduced to shards in the vat. Without the complete rod, you can't prove someone used it to sabotage the guardrail. Regardless, is it not the responsibility of the trading company to ensure its employees do not wander to restricted areas? Blaming a potential saboteur puts the cart before the horse. It doesn't just stop with Justin Way, either. Why was Rika entering the building? She doesn't even work for the company, and she was able to waltz in without any trouble. Actually, Steelwind does have a good point about Rika. Shouldn't something have stopped her from entering the area? You doubt Dracogen would have showed that kind of negligence. If that's true, I believe we should hear from her directly. Let's see how easily she gained access to the refinery on the day of the accident. We already anticipated that. She's prepared and ready to testify. Very well, then. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the stand. Oh, you might like this character, Infinity. Her sword hand will tremble. Miss Tudor, are you aware of why you've been called today? Yeah, I heard everything in the gallery. Then you have no problem answering the following question. Did you encounter resistance when entering the refinery the night of the accident? Witness, I remind you, you're under oath to tell everything you know. Failure to do so is a crime. No one tried to stop me. Sorry, Tyrion. You have nothing to apologize for, witness. The only one at fault is the trading company and their negligence. Hey, that's... For the record, please testify the details about how you entered the refinery that day, Miss Tudor. Okay. Witness testimony. That day, we were looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was locked. Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building. As the court can clearly see, there were no safeguards preventing the witness from entering a restricted area. The witness clearly stated there was a magical door leading the building. It's obviously some kind of security door powered by artificery, which is still unlocked and effectively useless. Damn, it must be a way to prove it wasn't Dracon's fault. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Wear a bra or something. Alright, you were in to deliver dinner to Justin, is that correct? Yeah, he's usually in the freight area around that time, but I was surprised when I didn't see him there. I was a little worried, so I decided to look for him in the main building. It seems strange to go looking for him. Why not just leave his food with one of his co-workers? I thought of that, but I also wanted to make sure he was okay. I was the one that helped give him the job in the first place. It wouldn't look good if he left in the middle of a shift. How did you enter the refinery building, Miss Tudor? Some kind of magical door, but it was locked. By magical door, you mean it was a door powered by artistry? Yeah, I have a door like in my restaurant too, but this one's a lot more complex. Why would you or Dracogen need magical doors anyway? One in my cafe magically locks the shop when I close it for the day. I guess the door of the refinery is for the same thing. But that means there was a mechanism to keep out unauthorized personnel, which was effectively useless. The witness entered with 0 resistance. Furthermore, the Inquisition effectively logged the specs for the door. Magical door. The only entrance to a refinery building is a door with an artificery lock. Magical keys can be used to unlock the door for 5 seconds. After 5, it automatically closes the door and engages. Lock can only be disabled by Stefanik. The door could be physically prevented from closing, but this would trigger an alarm within the security system. Alright, I'm gonna guess that last part is very important to prove that the door couldn't have just been jammed open or something with a doorstop or something. Did you use a key to unlock the door, Miss Tudor? No, I didn't. My guess is that Justin must have used his lockpicking tools to break it somehow. So you can see from his reports, he was the only person capable of disabling lock. I guess Mr. Dracogen kept the door unlocked during work hours. This means it's entirely Dracogen's fault the victim gained access to the building in the first place. Wait, that's not what I meant to... But that is what you implied, unless you can prove another person disabled the door. Can't refute that statement yet, but you might be able to work with this new information. Regardless, please add that last statement to your testimony, witness. Dracogen must disable the lock. No one else could have disabled it. That's quite the leap in logic. The specs of the door state the lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. Sorry, but I can't think of any other reason to be disabled. I mean, I get it. Sometimes I forget the key to my shop, and it becomes a real headache when I get locked out. I suppose that makes sense, but would he really do something like that? Lock's designed to be disabled. What if someone did something to bypass that? Nothing stopped me from entering the building. And you're not forgetting any other obstacles you encountered? No, I would remember something like that. If someone told me I was supposed to be there, I would have left. She seems sincere about that. It was probably an honest mistake. We could even realize she entered a restricted area, but the fact she was able to enter it so easily is strange. He must have had precautions to prevent such a thing from happening. Maybe the employees got lazy and disabled the lock against his orders? Dracogen have allowed something like that to happen. Alright, usually when they add a testimony, that's usually the one you interact with, but not always. Sometimes you need to add it to change the context of another statement, so... Lockpicking tool. He had a stack of lockpicking and safe crafting tools. Yeah, his planned robbery. Steelwind, you claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling door. That is the reason why the security door was unlocked and why the current witness was able to enter the building. That's correct. Your client's negligence allowed unauthorized persons like Justin Way to get access to the building. In regardless of any sabotage, he died because of what was in the unauthorized area. Ah, what if I told you another person may have disabled the door? Not because of laziness, but more nefarious purposes. What are you talking about? If you recall, the witness entered the refinery building and spotted Justin afterward. That means Justin entered the building before her. So that begs the question, how did Justin Way enter the building? The answer's obvious. He entered the same way the witnesses, the unlocked door. Not quite, Miss Steelwind. Since this trial began, we still haven't answered why he entered the building in the first place. He entered the building with the intent of robbing my client's personal safe. I already told you, Tyrion, he'd never do something like that. I feel a little guilty insulting a dead man's name like this, but this is the only possibility that makes sense. I'm sorry, Rika, but there are things about Justin even you didn't know about. The truth is, he was deeply in debt to a crime lord known as the Eye Taker, and he was extremely desperate to wipe out that debt as soon as he could. A crime lord? I won't ask how you came across this information, Mr. Cuthbert. What does this have to do with the disabled magical lock? Miss Steelwind, Justin owned a set of tools he used for picking mundane and magical locks. A safe that he was planning to rob was located in my client's office within the refinery building. I have a witness who saw Justin receive those tools shortly before the night of the accident. He clearly planned to disable any locks that stood between him and the safe. That means it's entirely possible that Justin disabled the refinery door illegally. We're not actually going to bring them in, are we? Yeah, I'm kind of bluffing right now. You basically assaulted one of them. What with assaulted him, Tyrion? She says that absolves her of any guilt. Hold on a minute, you can't just accuse him like that when he can't defend himself. I'm sorry, Rika, but his delinquent friends told me about the plan. He didn't want to rob Dracogen, but he needed the gold to wipe away his debt. If Justin wasn't the one to disable the lock, that would leave Dracogen. There has to be an explanation how none of them's guilty. She definitely believes Justin, but a scenario where both of them are innocent is too optimistic, if not outright impossible. But I guess it's not as if you're entirely certain of what happened that day either. Alright, Rika. You know Justin better than I did. Let's assume you are correct. Neither of them disabled locks that day. How did either of you enter the refinery? Someone must have disabled it then. Wait, let me think through this. Witness testimony. Plenty of people could disable the locks. Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcibly broke it. There's also a nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. He's a mage and had the magic, could use magic to do it. He could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw him working on the machines. One that broke the lock. Wait a minute! One of them was working on machines. I think we know where the contradiction is here, but if she's not lying, then that contradiction opens up an entirely new can of worms. I can barely even begin to point out the issues with theories, Miss Tudor. If you recall, the entrance can only be disabled by Stefanik. Even Mr. Cuthbert's theory makes more sense than your list of suspects. She's right. Doesn't matter how many suspects she prevents. None of them has the credentials to disable lock. So why do you feel there's something else that's incredibly wrong with her testimony? The defense would still like to exercise the right to cross-examine the witness. Oh, what a waste of time. While the court agrees with Miss Steelwind, we also recognize Mr. Cuthbert's right to cross-examination. However, I will not allow the defense to waste the court's time. If nothing substantial is gained, I will not hesitate to end it early. Understood, Your Honor? Yeah, there should not have been any maintenance robots. But as I said before, Draco Jim is the only person legally able to disable it, and Justin Wade is the only person able with the skill set to disable it illegally. Well, how do you know someone else didn't have tools like that? Well, that's possible, though unlikely. The ability to pick a magical lock is a pretty rare skill for anyone to have. As far as you are, no one else was there unauthorized that day. Except for maybe Astor and Morrison. Maybe one of the employees got lazy. Steelwind, did the Inquisition find any evidence of physical tampering with the entrance lock? None at all. Furthermore, if an employee hadn't tempted with the wisdom of subscribing, it would have set off the security system. Sorry, Rika. Oh, well... He's a mage and he could have done it. The Harbor Master's companion would have no reason to perform such an act. Your personal bias might be clouding your judgment, Miss Steelwind. This isn't merely an extrapolation based on his character, Mr. Cuthbert. The nobleman in question had legal authority to enter the building. He wouldn't need to resort to such underhand tactics. Right, as Crown Prince, he could legally enter if he wanted to. In fact, that's probably how he entered in the first place. You would probably know that since you two seem so close to one another. Is she jealous of our relationship? Maybe best avoid bringing up Astor with her. It could have also been maintenance constructs. Maintenance construct? You know, those magical suits of armor. Oh, she must have seen Arcane construct. Arcane only performed the actions they are ordered to do so, and a construct the Arcane Refinery would only take orders from their administrator, Stefanik, unless you want to imply Stefanik ordered the construction to break the lock. May I remind the prosecution that constructs are prone to error and misinterpretation. It could have done so while carrying out its orders. The Inquisition found no evidence of physical tampering with the lock, and even if they had, the security system would have alerted the moment it had. Well, I guess you have a lot of contradicting statements to work with this time. Yeah, I need to find one that's not so readily apparent. Not apparent? There's another contradiction? I'm not sure, but I can't help if something doesn't fit what we know already. Ignore the list of suspects and focus on other details. She observed a lot that day. Something has to be off. Yeah, we know that he never should have had a construct. Products from Von Sanctus. Objection! When the music stops, that means you chose right. Wait, that can't be right, can it? Rika, you said you saw a maintenance construct inside the refinery building. Are you sure it was Arcane construct? Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on them in the Von Sanctus catalogs, but they're not available to the public yet. When you saw this, what was it doing? I'm not exactly sure. It looked like it was doing maintenance on the machines. But it shouldn't have been there in the first place. What was it doing there? And more importantly, she sent it there. Where are you going with this, Mr. Cuthbert? As I said before, Arcane construct owned by the defendant wouldn't have disabled the lock. I agree, a construct owned by my client wouldn't have done that. But you say, Arcane constructs are extremely rare and not available to the general public yet. Furthermore, they're only produced and sold by Von Sanctus Industries. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several products to the Dracos Trading Company. However, when offered the opportunity to purchase Arcane constructs, my client turned him down. What? My client dislikes the construct's flawed intelligence. He doesn't want them working in the refinery. He turned down the offer in favor of utilizing human labor. Wait, then why did I see a construct there? Exactly. If my client did own any constructs, why did the witness see one in there? Or to phrase the question differently, who set the construct there? Who? Why would anyone send a construct to the refinery? First, let's consider the rarity of arcane constructs. They're highly experimental and not available to the public. With all these elements in mind, only one person in the entire city could have done this. Wait, you can't possibly mean... I do, Miss Steelwind. Who sent the arcane construct? Few individuals have access to these at all. Even fewer have the ability to disable a locked door without alerting the construct system. Only one individual could have done everything here that I've described. Lloyd Von Sanctus, the noble lord of Ornox, however you pronounce it. You can't be serious. Are you accusing of illegally sending a construct to the Arcane Refinery? What possible reason could you have to do that? When Rika saw the construct, she said it was working on the machines, but that construct was sent by Von Sanctus. It didn't actually work for Dracogen. What could that mean? Rika, when you saw the construct of the refinery, was it carrying anything? Yeah, actually, it was carrying a large cylindrical machine. It looked pretty heavy. Like it would normally need to be held by 2 people. Yes, how'd you know? It all makes sense now. Von Sanctus has been far too aggressive in pressing these charges. It wasn't because he was desperate to get rid of Dracogen. It's because he needed to cover up what actually happened. Mr. Cuthbert, where are you going with this? You see, Your Honor, the tool the witness saw the construct wasn't carrying wasn't just any tool, it's a rod of mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic. Transmutation magic, as in, that could be used to weaken and sabotage part of a refinery. No, are you seriously accusing? Your Honor, Lord Vard Sanctus sent a contract to the Arcane refinery to sabotage it. In other words, he's responsible for the guardrail breaking. I think that's enough about you, upstart commoner. The judge really needs to stop these guys from just barging into the stand. To be fair, he's gonna stop a noble from a pillar family. I've had enough of these blatant accusations. If you want to sling mud at my name, you will do it to me directly. Lord Von Sanctus, I would highly advise against doing this. Please, do you think I'm like that fool Pierce? This defense attorney's laughable. I have several pieces of evidence that easily prove my innocence. He's got a good poker face, but the eye's telling you he's actually a little desperate. Very well, if the defense wishes to accuse you, I see no harm in allowing you to defend yourself. The court would very much like to hear your testimony on the matter. Alright, as per usual, if I want to nail the culprit to the wall, I need to find a string and pull at it. It is possible to obtain a construct in a complex list of tasks, but doing so is ill-advised. I'm sure you observed this in the Nightgrave trial. They're extremely prone to error when completing a long list. According to the defense, the saboteur stole a rod of mending and used it to target very specific parts of machinery. I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised. Before you ask, I was miles away from the refinery at the time of the accident. I have several associates who can confirm this alibi. Therefore, I have no way of observing the construct from afar, nor a way to communicate with it. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. The Nightgrave trial revealed the risks of ordering a construct to commit a crime, but nevertheless, she saw a construct. That's indisputable. He definitely gave a complex list of sabotage and raised one question. How do you account for the error-prone logic? Cross-examination. Is that not a massive flaw in the construct's design? Artificery can only do so much. It's difficult enough to create magical items that respond to verbal commands, but our magic is still not advanced enough to replicate a common sense of a living creature. An arcane construct is still a marvelous invention. You merely need to supervise them if you wish to give them complex tasks. Regardless, you admitted that it is possible. Yes, but I'm sure you noticed this. Constructs are prone to error. Are you referring to what happened with Theodore Redmond's construct? I am, yes. It goes without saying the constructs were not designed to aid and abet murders, but they weren't designed to carry out such a long list, also weren't designed to carry a long list of tasks unsupervised. A lot of Redmond's orders fell well outside the construct's intended usage. Ordering it to transport a human body from one point to another, he even ordered it to play audio to make itself look like a person. I'm sure you know how that ended. He's right, and it encountered unforeseen consequences and failed to be able to complete its tasks. But the construct's creator, Von Sanctus, would know such circumstances would be unavoidable, so how would he get around that? According to the defense, the saboteur stole the rod of mending and used very specific parts of the refinery. Yeah, that's correct. As the chairman of Von Sanctus, you would have the resources and know how to use it in such a way. Yes, technically speaking, I would, but you forget that I couldn't have been there personally. I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised. Perhaps you were desperate enough to take a chance like that? Oh, please, I'll admit that I find Dracos a nuisance to my holdings, but I'm hardly in a position to resort to such desperate tactics. That does make sense. You suppose he was never playing for things to come back to him. If Celeste hadn't cast Detect Magic, no one would even known that someone had used magic within the refinery. Before you ask, I was miles away. I have several associates confirm the alibi. And I suppose you wouldn't mind having them testify? Lord Von Sanctus was discussing the blockade put around the city. Steelwind. I won't get into detail what they discussed, but the King Guard, City Watch, Arcane Musician, and myself were all present. We can all confirm that he was present in the meeting. Although his behavior was quite erratic that day. How could I not? You people do not care for personal hygiene. It took my retainers hours to disinfect that area. Can we please stay on the subject here? Right, anyways, Therefore, I had no way of observing... Wow, my accent for this character is slipping every moment. Therefore, I had no way of observing this construct from afar, nor do I have any way to communicate with it. What if the construct wasn't actually active? You could have had one of your servants don it as a disguise. It's extremely dangerous to wear a construct like a suit of armor. It almost always ends in severe injury or death in the worst case. Let me guess, is it spring-loaded or something? Furthermore, the supposed construct would need to carry and use a rod of mending. I have many capable servants, but none of them have superhuman strength. Right, your theory only makes sense if the construct was the one carrying the rod. His argument makes a lot of sense, actually. He couldn't trust it to sabotage the refinery alone, especially if there's such a big risk of being caught. Regardless of what he says, Rika did see a construct. You doubt he'd take a risk like that, so he must have had a way to complete the task. He's a noble and from a Pillar family and an accomplished mage. Could he have used that somehow? Conjuration magic. Yes, that's right. Send message, and it's from the Conjuration School. For the duration of the spell, the caster projects their voice to communicate with a target. Anyone within the 30 feet radius can also hear the caster's voice. The caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. The target must be the person known to the caster. They must also be conscious, otherwise the spell fail. Alternatively, they can cast it on an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. That's it. Von Sanctus, you testified there's no way for you to observe and communicate with the construct. Am I correct? Yes, I was at the meeting with Steelwind for that day. Anyone there could testify that. I'm not disputing your so-called alibi, but it's not as airtight as you think. What are you talking about? I was there at the meeting, Mr. Cuthbert. He may have been absent in mind, but he was there physically. Absent in mind, so his attention wasn't focused on the meeting. That may actually make our point stronger, which means his attention was somewhere else. I suppose you're correct, Miss Steelwind, but I have one question for you, Lord Von Sanctus. What would that be? Are you able to cast the send message spell? What? Miss Steelwind, your client may have been physically at the meeting, but his attention was elsewhere, was it not? He could have used a combination of spells to view the construct during the meeting. He could have used send message to communicate with it over a large distance. If my claim is fully false, your client should have no trouble disproving it with a spell compendium. Well, Von Sanctus? You appear to be hesitating, Von Sanctus. Can I assume you do know the spell send message? If so, that would punch a gigantic hole in your alibi. Steelwind, you were there, weren't you? My attention was fully there. I needed to cover for me. That idea was communicating with the construct's absurd. I'm afraid I can't say that, Lord Von Sanctus. Steelwind? I did find it odd. Your attention appeared to be elsewhere, despite the gravity of our discussion, and I seemed to recall you speaking under your breath the entire time. I'd always assumed you were muttering obscenities. Mr. Cuthbert's description does seem plausible. What are you saying? Aren't you obligated to defend me? I'm obligated to represent you to the best of my ability. I'm not obligated to forge an alibi for you. Little... Well, Von Sanctus, I'm afraid the court needs an answer. Are you able to send message? Fine, I admit it, okay? I am able to cast that spell. Yes. But that still doesn't prove anything. His voice betrays a hint of desperation. You have him right where you want him. Now's our opportunity to deal the final blow. So why do you feel uneasy? There's still two details that don't sit well with you. When I looked what it was, I saw Justin tumble over the guardrail. Saw Justin tumble over. Then please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both their testimonies be true? Well, there's only one possible. They saw someone. So the construct is the one who fell over afterward. Two different people. The second person falls unaccounted for. Lucky you didn't need to prove that second person existed, but not have an explanation. It still irks you. However, if it's not a clean ending, there's only one way forward, and that's revealing for the petty saboteur he is. Argument. Why did you hesitate so long to answer my question, Von Sanctus? You know very well why I hesitated. Why would I willingly give you evidence you clearly intend to use against me? Regardless, this entirely disproves your alibi. You could have communicated with your construct at the meeting. By that logic, I could be the mastermind behind every crime that occurs. Someone else could have sent that construct. I may have the means of the crime. There's plenty of other individuals that could have sent an arcane construct. These constructs are not available to the public. Von Sanctus, you of all people should know that arcane constructs are not available to the public. When you attempt to sell these constructs, you promised him you'd be the first merchant to own one. Since you refused to offer, that would lead you as the only owner in all of the city. That's... Very well, I admit I may not have been truthful when I made my sales pitch. So you're saying you lied to my client? Oh, please. Every good businessman knows to embellish the truth when making a sale. I've sold contracts to other individuals. If only it would be too dangerous to sell it to anyone else. I've sold to other individuals. If only it would be too dangerous to sell to anyone else. Frankly, Von Sanctus, I find that hard to believe. After the Nightgrave trial, you must have been a lot more fearful about who you sold your construct to. You only tried to sell it to Dracogen so that you can control him. You wouldn't have done it otherwise. Is that so? Why don't you prove it? No, Von Sanctus, why don't you prove your statement? Show us any invoice that proves you made a sale to someone else in Arena. That's right, since he's making the claim, the burden of proof is on him. Well, who says the saboteur lived in Arena when I made the sale? Are you serious? It's a trading hub. Plenty of people come and go from the city. The saboteur could be someone who secretly entered. Any of my customers could have secretly entered the city to carry out the sabotage. There was a blockade. Von Sanctus, you might have been right under any circumstances, but the Kingsguard locked down the city on the day that accident occurred. No one except for a select few could have entered and left or entered the city, and due to the gravity of the situation, they create profiles of everyone within the city. Why don't we cross-reference the records taken by the Night Guards with a list of individuals you've sold these constructs to? I suppose from your reaction, that list would come up empty. So why don't you admit to your crimes, Von Sanctus? Or do I have to drag the evidence into court myself? Wait, drag it into court? Of course, how can I forget? Why don't you go ahead and do that, Mr. Cuthbert? Bring in your so-called evidence. I don't know where this confidence is coming from. We can easily detect the traces of divination and transmutation from constructs you own. Assuming it still exists, that is. Wait, that's right. If he used a construct to commit a crime, he would have disposed of it. Even with the blockade. Oh no, his plan to dispose of it was to drop it into the vat alongside Justin, since both would have been dissolved. With his resources, he could have hidden anywhere in the city. It'd be a needle in a town of haystacks. We still have the testimony of Eureka. I'm sure many other people could see the construct walking around. The common folk may hardly be trusted to recognize complex artificery. Without the actual construct, all you have are several unreliable witnesses. Tell me, Lady Steelwind, could I be convicted of such a serious charge with such evidence? No, I suppose not. Damn it, is he seriously gonna get away with all this? No, you have one card up your sleeve. If we can just find out where he disposed of the evidence, you might be able to direct the Inquisition there. Come on, focus your thoughts, Tyrion. Activate Empowered Eye. Your undignified glare will do you no favors. Wait, why isn't it working? The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. That's twice now you've used to get out of a corner. If you keep relying on the one trick, you'll never grow as an attorney. One day, you'll find a witness the Empowered Eye will not work on. Miss Tormore was right. You've been relying on it too much anyway. For silence, I assume you have no way to reboot my claim. I suppose that makes checkmate, you upstart commoner. Also, I can't believe you resort to accusing me of manslaughter. Crass and tactics, but I suppose I can't expect anything less from a charlatan like you. Damn it. What the hell are you doing? Wait, what? That look on your face, are you seriously giving up? I've seen you get out of plenty of situations worse than this. Why are you giving up this time? I'm sorry, Celeste, but I can't use my usual strategies. There's no way to find the evidence that we need. Seriously? There's always a way, Tyrion. Your usual strategies aren't working. Come up with something different. She's right. I don't need to see directly into his mind to utilize my skills as an attorney. Well, I may not be able to use the Eye of Horus this time, but I've always been able to rely on deductive reasoning. Seems I have no further questions, and you clearly don't have physical evidence. I think I'll be taking my leave. I'm not quite done with you yet, Mr. Von Sanctus. Honestly, your desperation's almost pitiful. You really should learn to lose with dignity, Mr. Cuthbert. He's the last person you want to hear that from. Calm your mind and focus. You may not be able to read his mind in the literal sense, but you can still expoliate his plan and actions. Let's explore my theory a little, see if there truly is no physical evidence. If you want to use a construct, you didn't need to maintain constant communication. So to prove this communication occurred, you need something that connects you to it. Which piece of evidence would connect them? On constructs, don't count as people for the purpose of that spell. What piece of evidence would that leave behind? The object that he attuned to. The arcane construct isn't a person, so you had to have used an object attuned to your magic in order to communicate with it. Miss Steelwind, if I were able to find that object, would that tie your client to sabotage? Hypothetically, yes. The Inquisition has divination magic. They can use it to detect if an object is attuned to a specific mage. Good luck finding such evidence. If I did perform these acts, the remains could be anywhere in the city. Oh, I'm not so sure about that, Von Sanctus. Let's look at things from your perspective. Why would you do the things you did that day? Knowing that will prove to where you ultimately hid the constructs. Your intention was to sabotage the refinery without anyone else finding what you did. So how would you dispose of the construct and the attuned item? How would he easily destroy the evidence? Wait, destroy. Then thrown into the vat of volatile liquid. Use the vat of volatile liquid. I suppose that makes sense. You did find the remains of the rod of mending in there too. But wouldn't that mean the object's fully dissolved? Exactly, there'd be no physical evidence for you to find. Oh, that's not necessarily true. You threw the rod of mending into the vat, and that didn't fully dissolve. What? The workers neutralized the liquid immediately after Justin fell into it. What? Neutralizing liquid would rendered it unsalvageable and useless. Doing that would have cost Dracojet a small fortune. Unlike you, Von Sanctus, my client values the lives of workers over products. And because of that, the Inquisition was able to find pieces of bone matter and metal within the vat. Wait, the rod didn't fully dissolve. That means it was thrown in around the same time as Justin was it. You wouldn't happen to have thrown the rod into the vat after you were done with the sabotage. If you want to destroy the rod, you've destroyed all the evidence you need to get rid of. What piece of evidence would he also dispose of? The arcane construct. You would have also destroyed the construct itself. That's ridiculous. Lady Steelwind, why aren't you? I told you before, didn't I? I will defend you to the best of my ability, but I will not fabricate an alibi. And you must have ordered the construct to throw itself into the vat to hide any trace of your sabotage. Machine resembling a human fell outside of the vat. That means anyone looking the wallway would have seen this. That's it! The arcane construct was the second person Astrid and Morrison saw fall in the vat. That's why we didn't find any more organic matter from anyone other than Justin there. The second body was actually an arcane construct. How dare you? Wait, Rico's sure we saw Justin off. After she notified the two, they saw the construct break the guardrail and fall into the vat. Wouldn't that mean the construct disposed of itself after Justin Wei fell off the walkway? Why would you order it to do that? Because it never happened, obviously. Your logic's flawed. He's getting stressed out. Maybe you should try using the empowered eye. No, you don't need it this time. You're so close to figuring it out, you can feel it. So think, if he's observing it using magic, he must have seen Justin fall. For some reason, he reacted by sabotaging the guardrail. Why would he ignore seeing that happen? Unless he did all this because he saw Justin fall. Von Sanctus wanted the broken guardrail to look like an accident. No, he saw Justin fall. Instead of running away, he ordered it to sabotage and break it. Why do something like that? Justin's death to look like an accident. It's because you wanted it to look like an accident. Which means it wasn't actually one, wasn't it? Oh, now you're accusing me of intentionally murdering the victim. Why would I ever do that? You said it yourself, my goal was sabotage. Committing murder would be unnecessary addition to what I'd done. Well, those constructs do have a habit of shoving people in their way. What if the construct shoved Justin, causing him to fall over the rail? He's figured out everything? He's figured out everything that happened just from a few clues. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just, walk past him. Acknowledge. What? Hey, watch out, quit shoving. Whoa. Holy crap, pull me up. I can't hold on much longer. Ah, you idiot, what are you doing? Grab his arm and pull him up. Acknowledged. Ah, my hand, what the hell are you doing? Grip's too tight, stop that. Acknowledged. Ah, wait, I can still... It may have been unintentional, but either way, you would have been at fault for his death, not my client. And if the construct fell in after Justin, your attuned object must be somewhere in the neutralized liquid. No, even better than that. Constructs are made from special magical alloy, aren't they? I'm sure with a few divination spells, we can identify the metal shards from the construct and your arcane focus. Each and every one of those pieces points directly at you, Von Sanctus. You prudent little upstart. And that's checkmate, Von Sanctus. Why don't you save us all a little time, Von Sanctus? Admit to what you did. And while you're at it, drop your false allegations against my client. I have nothing to admit to, nor anything to apologize for. Of course not. You're completely blameless, right? You think you've achieved victory here today? No, dissidents like you and Dracogen are already deluded. Each and every one of you only throws Dracogen further into chaos. Talk about these commoners as if they even have a fraction of the power you have. Lady Steelwind, you need to see reason. They lack awareness of the power they truly have. What? These people have infected you and His Majesty with their idealistic delusions. I implore you, both of you, see reality for what it is. No, Von Sanctus, the true reality is that people like you become threatened when we challenge your power. You all speak about the rights of an individual. You speak as if each and every one of you wouldn't stab each other on the back the moment you benefit yourselves. You may hate nobility, you curse, scream, and blame us for your little problems. The truth is you need us. You need us to direct and lead you. You need us to maintain the fragile order that holds your peaceful lives together. You talk about protecting common folk from themselves, but the truth is your actions led to the death of an innocent man. That's the only truth that matters. The defense has no further questions for the witness. He is dismissed. Very well. We did it again, Tyrion. We even caught another murder in the process. Yeah, we couldn't get the case officially dismissed today, but it's pretty much inevitable with the evidence we brought forth. Actually, probably won't even reach that point. I have advised Lord Von Sanctus to drop the suit entirely. Word's already spread regarding the evidence you brought forward. At that point, prolonging the trial would just harm his public image even more. That's great, now I can build a case against him for Justin's death. About that, I'll probably be forced to recluse myself from the charges brought against him. Wait, why? It's because you represented him in the suit, didn't it? That'd be considered a conflict of interest to prosecute him yourself, even though you're probably the only one that would convict him successfully. You are correct. As head of one of the Pillar families, he has the justice system dancing in the palm of his hand. He'll quietly and swiftly be acquitted. I would never have agreed to represent him if I had known about this. Truly sorry. Damn, he must have had this planned all along. No, is he seriously gonna get away with all this? I wouldn't be so sure about that. Dracogen. He may be acquitted in the legal sense, but the court of public opinion is a different thing entirely. What do you mean? You brought forward a myriad of evidence against him. I'm sure everyone in the gallery saw it too. Von Sanctus' power relies on public image, and you quite handily tore down the facade. That's what he's referring to. Yeah, when yeah. I might have mentioned before, when sometimes someone tries to have an abusive relationship because they know the person on the receiving end is more powerful than they are, and they can't allow it. After all, the moment they realize is that the person doesn't actually have hold any power over them, it's all over. He may walk free, but his power and ideals have taken a great blow. Was that seriously all we can do? His actions and recklessness led to the death of Justin Way. He should be punished within the letter of the law. You're not wrong, Mr. Cuthbert, but sometimes we must take what victories we can get. You're probably right. There's still one thing that's been nagging at me. Oh, what's that? Why is your safe unlocked if nothing was stolen? If Justin had gotten his safe, he would have taken the gold with him. It shouldn't still be there. Considering nothing is missing, I'd rather leave it at that. Justin was a good man. I'd rather not taint anyone's memory of him, especially Rika's. Right, she was pretty upset about your accusations. Nothing was taken, so no harm was done. I suppose so. I can't help but wonder what actually happened. Yeah, my guess is that he changed his mind at the last minute and left. Then again, I guess that's kind of what the implication of that is, well, all was running to. There's not many others that could possibly be. It just makes no damn sense to me. The kid successfully robbed the guy days ago. No one's seen him. Nobody even suspected him. Then he breaks the place again, and he put back the stolen gold. This makes sense to you, Eris. Perhaps he felt more remorse for his actions, father. Oh, wow. These things are getting even more complex than I was expecting. But we also have to remember Eris directly referred to people as humans. So either she herself is not human, or she doesn't consider herself such. Furthermore, the implication seems to be that she has some sort of magic that can manipulate minds itself, but not absolute mind control. She directly stated she wished to corrupt our client in the last case, but she failed to do so. He was too much of a precious cinnamon roll to be corrupted. Likewise, she was not able to get the cruel professor from just being a cruel. Well, she was able to stop her from yelling at her, but not from being cruel. Couldn't even get her to make any compliments. So it does seem... And she also insisted to the murder that all she did, that everything was within his likeness. And if we listen to Commander White's statement about the murder of the adulterer, then yeah, it does seem like she has the ability to push people in a way that they were already going, but not in a way that they wouldn't have done naturally. I guess an example that people might be aware of would be one of the stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They directly stated it does not mind control, it does not compel, it does not do anything particularly impressive beyond simply amplifying what emotions and feelings a person already has. It drove people to murder each other, but it didn't force them to. It didn't compel them or anything. They simply already had those feelings and it brought them out. Interesting. Not everyone can betray people they love so easily. And if that's true, I feel there's a sense of tragic beauty to it all. If he had never tried to do the right thing, he never would have encountered that contract in the first place. He would have paid his debt and still have his life. True what they say, no good deed goes unpunished. Shame about the gold, though. I think we've made more than a profit today. Interesting, so... I, for one, am happy to have claimed a boatload of teeths today. Interesting. So yeah, they definitely work with, I think, more than just money. We've also learned ourselves a bit more about the Eye of Horus, but mostly in terms of where it comes from. It comes from his mother. Curiouser and curiouser. Alright. Well, I guess, for now, well, this seems like a good time to call it since it's the end of the third case. But for now, I'm going to... Alright, this will be the end of it for the YouTube VOD, but for anyone else, I'm going to go ahead and raid someone, so let me just grab the thing here. Alright. Let me just get the raid stuff ready, and, yeah, until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, I'll see you later.